This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second. The throw in time
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays in Boston once again, looking to take the series at Fenway Park. They've won the last two. Can they make it a third in a row? That's what we'll find out tonight. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer. Tom Young, our technical director. If you're tuning in, looking for the Raptors' final home game of the season, catch that at 7:30 on the alternate stream, streaming on the Sportsnet app and Sportsnet.ca. But you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers on St. Clair and on Laird Avenue in Toronto. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Third start of the year for Kevin Gausman, who had a so-so outing in his first one on the road against the Mets. He looks to be a little bit sharper tonight. He'll go up against Tanner Houck, who's historically been great against the Toronto Blue Jays. But the Blue Jays have scored 6 on back-to-back nights. We'll see if they can have another big day tonight. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, on Sportsnet.ca, and on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that TimberMart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the TimberMart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as TimberMart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. TimberMart, Canada's building center.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Battle of the start-finish line. Alexander Rossi goes to P1.
Hear every thrilling moment of the 2025 IndyCar season, including the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500.
The green flag flies. They reach the yard of bricks.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 4:30 Eastern with the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218 and the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the Sirius XM app. Then tell me to play the Blue Jays on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
The 1-1 to Springer. Swing and a high fly ball. Left center field. Going back, Rafaela. That ball is gone. Solo home run for George Springer. Swing and a ground ball up the middle into center field, base hit. Into score Straw. Heineman right behind him. It's a 2-run single for Bo Bichette and a 4-0 Blue Jay lead.
Huge knocks today for both of them. Obviously, Bo with the 2 outs and George getting us on the board with the homer. It's been really cool to kind of watch them come in the last couple months, even in spring training, and work on things and go out and execute it. You know, it's one thing in spring training, but I think to do it in the season has been really cool. You know, that's the kind of hitters they can be.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider talking about George Springer and Bo Bichette, both of whom came up with big hits yesterday in the Blue Jays 6-1 win over the Boston Red Sox. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, we won't see George Springer get the start in this game, at least for the Blue Jays, but Bo Bichette is there, and it's really like the Blue Jays have made 2 adds to the lineup without going to free agency for them.
Yeah, I mean, I said this yesterday, and I said this before the season even started. The biggest addition to this lineup is going to be a good and healthy Bo Bichette. Obviously, George Springer is a huge surprise and a huge addition to this lineup. Without Anthony Santander producing like he will, and without Vladimir Guerrero Jr. really producing like he's going to later in the season, it's so important for other guys to step up. And Bo Bichette has done a great job. And, of course, George Springer leading the league in average. George Springer going to get the day off today. He has been fantastic at his second home run of the season yesterday. For the lineup and a little bit more, let's go over to today's host before first pitch. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control, everyone. Show Ali with you at our downtown Toronto studios as we await first pitch down at Fenway. The Blue Jays aiming for a series win in Boston. Just game 3 of this 4-game set. Blue Jays already having won 2 in a row. You know, we spent a lot of airtime this week discussing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his new mega deal. And hey, the deal is now official. The team announcing it on the road earlier this afternoon. And I highly suggest you check out the team's social accounts because they did a phenomenal job with some of the hype videos. But of course, because it is official, it means the team can actually talk about it. So let's hear the first words from Ross Atkins, general manager of the Blue Jays. He spoke to the media in Boston. Now, this has been edited for brevity, but the majority of Atkins' comments to Hazel May, Shai Davidi, Dan Schulman, Keegan Matheson, they're all in here. So here he is, GM of the Blue Jays, Ross Atkins.
So powerful for the organization. I think it's monumental for Toronto and in the game. Historic deal for what will be an historic player. So I'm very grateful that we are here today, that we were able to line up. I think that happens when there's mutual interest, and that was never in doubt.
When you look at Vladdy, what does he bring to the table, and how, moving forward, can he be this monumental figure, this key figure for your organization?
Yeah, I think he's just getting started. He's been already, he's done incredible things thus far as an individual and with his team. He's going to continue to do those things. I think the athleticism that he's come into, the power he's always had, the elite hit tool, the knowledge of the game, and now a true leader in the industry. So he understands what it takes to keep those things up, and that will help him continue to be that type of impact player.
Lost February 18th when that deadline came and went without a deal. What was your read on where this might be headed at that point, what the opportunity might look like? When, in your estimation, did you feel like things started to turn in a positive direction?
Yeah, I mean, on February 18th, we, felt as though there was never going to be a door closed from our perspective and our end, and learned pretty quickly that he still had some openness. And then as things transpired over the last month, we made some progress, obviously, and we're very fortunate to be here today.
Was there, from your perspective, a moment that you think was vital in helping to bridge the gap, which he described as a substantial one at February 18th?
Not one. Every deal, there's so many different levers to pull. It's not just about the $500 million number. There's a lot of complexity to these deals, and so we were fortunate to find one that worked for everyone.
Speaking of some of the structural elements, specific, how did that factor into the deal? And from the club perspective, why is that substantial signing bonus beneficial to them?
There is benefit to the player that was attractive from a tax perspective and the guaranteed nature of it, and there's benefit to the club from an accounting perspective.
So a deal like this clearly makes Vladdy your representative, the face of this franchise. What comes with that, and why is Vladdy the guy who do that?
Yeah, he is already the face of this franchise, and he's earned it with some really good players around him, and confident that he will continue to be a lot of the things that I mentioned about his preparation. I think one of the things that excites me, not just the fans, but everyone in baseball, is how much joy and passion he plays with, and how positive that is for his teammates, and how powerful it is for his teammates. But really, it comes down to winning, and we're all in that together. It will not be resting on his shoulders, but he will be accountable, and he will be a leader in our environment that is going to foster winning.
How have you seen him grow and develop around the game, like clubhouse, a leader for younger guys?
Yeah, it's remarkable for me to watch professional athletes at this level. That what goes into being able to compete on a daily basis is just an incredible commitment. And to watch players as young as Vladdy and Bo and others, and Andres Jimenez do it, so often and in such a mature fashion, so early, is so powerful for the rest of their career. The commitment is what comes to mind.
Vladdy said he was aware of every conversations they've had. Is he physically in the room on the Zoom, or has things?
Over the years, really, like, there's been so many interactions with Barry and Scott Shapiro, his representation, and with Vladdy. And sometimes he was intimately involved, and other times he wasn't, but he was always aware, and we were all making sure that was the case, that he was aware and understanding.
Ross, we've seen a number of clubs in recent weeks sort of act to sort of extend earlier. As you look back at sort of your time with Vladdy, how did maybe the process evolve to doing an extension now versus maybe trying to do this earlier in the career? Was this something that maybe wasn't available to you guys earlier in his career?
Well, we have tried. We've been engaged for years, and this is the time that we lined up. There's so many factors that go into that, and we're fortunate to be here today.
Where do things shift now that you've got Vladdy taken care of, you've got Kirky taken care of? Bo is obviously an instrumental part of your organization as well. Have there been talks? Have you reached out to his camp yet?
Yeah, the interest is definitely there to talk about negotiations. Something that we are consistent in not doing. And it's also our vision for them to continue to play together. All of the individuals that you mentioned, and we will do everything in our power to see if we can line up.
That is Ross Atkins speaking to the media. And maybe we can officially turn our attention to Bo Bichette and a new deal for the Blue Jays shortstop. Dalton Varsho, I have to imagine, is also on that short list for players to lock up long term, but Bo, I'd guess, is at the top of their wish list, and I'm sure yours as well. We will get to the starting lineups in a second. Yes, Bo is batting leadoff for the Blue Jays, but first, let's check out the Bet365 standings update. First pitch just a few minutes away. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Blue Jays and Yankees both sitting at 7-5. The Red Sox are 6-6 after two straight losses to the Blue Jays in this series. The Rays are 4-6, and the Orioles are 5-8. Before we get you over to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue, who again are standing by for the call of today's ball game, let's get to the starting lineups. Bo Bichette, as I said, is batting leadoff. He is at shortstop. It's a DH day for Vladdy. He is batting second. Batting third is Anthony Santander. He's in left field. Andres Jimenez is at second base, batting cleanup. Will Wagner is batting fifth. He's at first base. Alejandro Kirk is catching, batting sixth. Batting seventh, Alan Roden in right field. Ernie Clements at the hot corner. He's at third, batting eighth. And Nathan Lucas is batting ninth. He is in center field. Kevin Gausman makes his third start of the year. For the Red Sox, here's Alex Cora's starting lineup. Jaron Duran is batting leadoff. He is in left field. Rafael Devers is batting second. He is DHing. Alex Bregman is batting third. He is at third base. Tristan Casas is batting cleanup. He is at first base. Trevor Story is batting fifth. He is at shortstop. Wilyer Abreu, who has had a hot start to the season, he's in right field, batting sixth. Christian Campbell, he of the $60 million contract extension, just a couple of games into his career. He's in center field, batting seventh. David Hamilton's at second base, batting eighth, and batting ninth. Carlos Narvaez, he is catching. Tanner Houck is starting for the Red Sox. By the way, I did see, I believe, Tuukka Rask and Zdeno Chara throw out simultaneous first pitches for the Red Sox at Fenway tonight to much ballyhooed applause. for the Fenway faithful. I got to imagine Chara, of all people, who's delivered some bone-crushing hits of a different caliber, of course, than baseball, he could probably hit some dingers. I don't know if he's going to suit up tonight in his 40s, but still, looks pretty good, all things considered. All right, anyways, I digress. We are getting close to the first pitch at Fenway Park, so let's get you over to the call of the game. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Sean. I think you're discounting the extension Chara gets on his fastball, but we're about to get started. Blue Jays and Red Sox. Toronto at Fenway Park looking to win a third in a row. I think you come into this series, Chris, and you think, okay, good team in the Red Sox. They had won 5 in a row. You can get there and split it on the road. You're probably happy. Now the Blue Jays wouldn't be happy with that after winning the first 2.
And normally you would think Tanner Houck is really tough out on that mound, but he's struggling right now. He has a 6.52 ERA in 2 starts this season, and if you look back to his 2025 spring training, he threw, I think, 13 innings and gave up 29 hits. There's something off with Tanner Houck. Hopefully the Blue Jays can take advantage of that.
Houck, like Chris said, 6.52 ERA, 0-1 in 2 starts at Texas and at Baltimore. So 2 pretty tough environments for him to succeed in. But the right-hander, who started really hot last year, is looking to rein it back in. He's getting his warm-ups in right now. 6'5", 226 pounds, a 28-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri, who was actually drafted by the Blue Jays in the 12th round out of high school in Illinois in 2014, decided to go to the University of Missouri, and that was a good choice as he got picked in the first round years later by the Red Sox.
It's actually interesting. I've known a lot of guys that have been late round picks. They go to college, they go to university, and they mature over those 2.5 years, and they turn out to be absolute studs. I wasn't that guy. I gradually matured, but there's guys that just come out of nowhere, a lot like Tanner Houck.
Hey, you went to college a catcher and came out a pitcher.
Maybe I did come out of nowhere.
That comes pretty good. About to get going. Bo Bichette in the righty box. Tanner Houck onto the hill. He winds and deals home. First pitch is hit on the ground as shortstop. Backhanded by Trevor Story. His throw to first bounces, but it's picked by Tristan Casas. 1 pitch and 1 out. Time of the first pitch today, 6:46 Eastern. Another cold day in Boston. Not quite yesterday, which actually went down as the 3rd coldest game in Fenway's history, I read. But today's 7 degrees in Boston, a little bit more sun at first pitch.
Balmy. It's a balmy 7 degrees.
Get your bathing suit on.
Holy cow, that is frigid.
Pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Called to strike, looked pretty low, 0-1. Home plate umpires Corey Blazer, Manny Gonzalez at first, Alex Tosi at second, and Ron Kulpa at third. 1 out, bases empty, the 0-1. Guerrero takes it for a ball. That one looked like a strike, so it's evened up, 1-1.
Yeah, the first pitch was about a ball and a half below that strike zone. That's a tough pitch too, but not a strike.
1-1. Up and in, ball 2. Righty Tanner Houck was 9-10 last year, 3.12 ERA and near 180 innings. From the first base side of the rubber, he kicks and deals. Swing and a miss by Vlad, 2-2.
And that's the big sinker that Tanner Houck has. He has a good sweeper, a good sinker, and then a really devastating split finger that I think he should throw more, but he doesn't quite throw it as much as I think he should. It has such devastating downward action to it.
Rose in the mid-90s is 2-2. Inside, ball 3. One thing about Houck, though, is he keeps the ball in the yard. Only 11 home runs allowed last year, was tied for second best among qualified pitchers. 3-2. Hit on the ground, left side, charging in at third base, glove by Bregman. Throw on to first, bounces, and that one not dug out by Casas. It's off the glove, back into the infield. And Guerrero safe at first.
Well, that was one of those short hops at first base that most first basemen usually come up with. You could see Tristan Casas not overly thrilled about that play, but interestingly enough, the play that he made on the Trevor Story throw to get Bo Bichette was a lot harder, and he made that play look easy. That one right there should have been made.
They credit Vlad with a base hit. Defense hurt the Red Sox yesterday. 2 errors in a 4-run inning for Toronto. Pitch to Anthony Santander, outside, ball 1. So I was mentioning, though, with Houck and the long ball, so only 11 last year, second best among qualified starters. This year, though, he's already given up 3 in 2 starts. So hitters getting under his pitches a little bit more than usual. 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Runner on first, 1 out, top of the first. No score, Blue Jays and Red Sox. Santander, switch hitter, batting from the left side. The 2-0. Called strike. Frozen with a splitter, 2-1.
Wonder how George Springer feels getting the day off today.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the reason, but I did look. The numbers against Tanner Houck for Springer are not good overall. 2-1. Swing and a hard ground ball past the diving second baseman Hamilton and into center field. Up to second base goes Guerrero. Santander at first. Back-to-back base hits for the Blue Jays.
Well, that was a split finger from Houck, and it didn't really have that downward action that I was talking about earlier. Kind of just floated up in the strike zone, and that just tells me that he's pushing that baseball instead of getting on top of it like he normally does. Anthony Santander with a good hit there up the middle.
Back-to-back singles for the Blue Jays, who came up with 9 hits and 6 runs yesterday. Here's Andres Jimenez, right on left pitch. Called strike. So George Springer in the cleanup spot yesterday, on the bench today. Just on his matchup with Houck, Springer career is 0 for 12 with 5 strikeouts against Tanner Houck. So maybe this is a day you pick as his one-off day in the week. 0-1 pitch is hit deep, foul down the left field line by Jimenez, 0-2. One thing John Schneider had mentioned in the opening homestand when they gave Springer his first day off, they want to be more proactive than reactive. Get him a day off just because, rather than wait till he's sore and then giving him a day off. 0-2. Swing and a looping line drive left center field, down for a base hit. Guerrero had to wait. He'll go to third and stop there. The bases are loaded for the Blue Jays on 3 straight singles.
Yeah, Christian Campbell did a good job faking out Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had to wait there, maybe 20 feet off of second base before he was sure that that ball was down. I don't think he would have scored anyways, but a good job from Christian Campbell out there in center field.
Bit of savvy from a guy in his first 10 to 15 major league games.
Hey, he's got $60 million in his bank. Well, not yet, but
it's coming.
It's coming.
Bases loaded, 1 out, no score, top of the first. The pitch to Will Wagner. Called strike. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So back to George Springer. George Springer is 17 for 37, 2 homers, 9 RBIs. He's hitting .459 on the year.
It's been an incredible start to the year.
Unbelievable.
Available off the bench today. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1.
When you're available on a day like this, it's pretty tough to get loose. I can almost guarantee that.
Sure. Still a lot of ski masks or balaclavas on the Blue Jays. The 2-1. Way outside, ball 3. (3-1) to Will Wagner. Swing and a miss. Wagner 8 for 28 to start his year, .286 average, 2 doubles and 3 walks. Picked up his first RBI of the season in the series opener 2 days ago. The payoff pitch. Swing and a pop-up foul into the seats off to the left.
Well, the last 2 fastballs from Tanner Houck have been really good sinkers, a lot of movement. That one there kind of moving away from the barrel. Will Wagner doing a good job just fouling that baseball off.
Another 3-2. Chopped right side to second base, charging in, picked up by Hamilton. He'll underhand flip to first. Guerrero comes in to score, and everyone else is safe. An RBI ground out for Wagner, 1-0 Blue Jays.
Well, not what you want to do there, but that's good enough. If you're Will Wagner, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, score that guy from third base. You get an early lead, and you still have somebody in scoring position with 2 outs in this inning.
Got Santander on third and Jimenez on second to the Blue Jays. 2 outs, Alejandro Kirka. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball, left center field. Backing up Duran. And it's going to drift over to the center fielder, Campbell, who makes the squeeze to end the inning. A run for the Blue Jays on 3 hits. Will Wagner knocks it in with the RBI groundout. Blue Jays leave 2 on, but lead 1-0 after half an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Breaking news come at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hi, this is Bowden Francis, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pocahontas in the cranberry glades.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-0 Blue Jays as we get going in the bottom of the first. Kevin Gausman pitches against the Red Sox today. Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, and Alex Bregman will hit this inning for Boston. It's a grizzly Gausman. He's grown out the beard a little bit, perhaps to brave the cold. Blue Jays in their royal blues. Gausman's got a royal blue long sleeve under it. Gray pants for Toronto. The pitch to Jarren Duran is a fastball at the knees. He gets ahead 0-1. Red Sox in their home white uniforms for a third straight day with red lettering. Right on left, here's the 0-1. Fastball down and in.
And if you look at the numbers in Kevin Gausman's last start, April 4th against the New York Mets, he went 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 2 hits, but didn't strike anybody out. The split finger just didn't really have that action that it normally does. He needs to get on top of it today to have that action.
It's 1-1. His foul tip, that was a splitter, his first one of the day, 1-2.
And that's a good one because it had the vertical drop as opposed to that horizontal kind of two-seam run to it. When he gets on the side of that split finger, it kind of just fades as opposed to tumbling. And that one was a good one right there.
He'll use it plenty today. I mean, he uses it a ton every start. But the more left-handed hitters in a lineup, the more splitters he's going to throw. Here's 1-2. Hit in the air, left center field on a line, and that gets down in front of the sprinting Nathan Lucas, who quickly gets it to second to limit Duran to a single. Splitter that was left up, and Duran got under it.
And you could see that he pushed that one, and it kind of just floated up there, had a little bit of run to it. But in order for that split finger to have that downward action, you have to get on top of it. You have to really get the extension, and Kevin Gausman just didn't get it right there.
Duran, a dangerous base stealer, 3 bags already this season, leads off first. And the pitch to Rafael Devers. Called low, looked pretty good, 1-0.
And Jarren Duran was actually thinking second base as he was rounding first. He is an exciting player.
He's always looking to push the envelope, even when he lines the ball right at an outfielder. 1-0 to Devers. Duran takes off. Pitches high and outside a ball, and the throw sails into center field. Duran gets up. Lucas with a throw to third, and it's not in time. I don't know what happened on that throw from Alejandro Kirk. He's been so good recently, but that one just slipped way off to the right.
Yeah, I'd love to see the replay on that one. I mean, it seemed like he didn't have a grip on that baseball. That was nowhere near second base.
Ball went high and it went wide right. Duran actually got up late, and Lucas had the ball and a chance to get him, but Jarren Duran so quick beats it out to third. So a stolen base and then an error on Kirk. And now it's runner on third, no outs. 2-0 to Devers, hit foul, 2-1.
And there are very few people in the big leagues that would have even taken third base on that wild throw. That wild throw went right to Nathan Lucas in center field, and Jarren Duran, sure enough, swipes third base after that error.
Blue Jays keep the infield back rather than playing in. Nobody out, bottom of the first, 1-0 Toronto. 2-1 to Devers. Swing and a miss at a heater outside, 2-2.
And remember, Rafael Devers loves the low pitch, so I don't know if you want to throw a split finger here down. Maybe throw another fastball that's up, but he loves that low breaking ball.
Devers will ask for time. It's granted by Corey Blazer. Shrug of the shoulders from the left-handed hitter. He steps back into the box. 11 for 45 to start his year at .244 average. 3 doubles and a homer. The 2-2. Splitter low, taken for ball 3.
Not a bad pitch there.
Duran on third, nobody out. 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom 1. Gausman rocks and releases. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Went low with the fastball and got him. 1 down.
Well, Rafael Devers loves the low pitch, but he loves the slow stuff below that strike zone. He loves hitting those sliders, those curveballs that are below the strike zone. I think Kevin Gausman kind of messed him up there with that low fastball, but a good pitch nonetheless.
And it just got a tiny bit of arm side run that might have snuck it away from the bat as well. Big first out. Corners in now, middle back, pitch to Alex Bregman, called a strike 0-1. Some difficult hurdles for Gausman here to try and keep a run from scoring after Duran got to third with nobody out. He cleared the first one in Devers. Here's his 0-1 to Alex Bregman. Hit high, deep, left field. Santander and Lucas converging in left center. Lucas leaps and makes the grab, crashing down onto the warning track. Duran tags. He'll come in to score on a sacrifice fly to make it 1-1. Heck of a catch, though, from Nathan Lucas.
Well, how about Nathan Lucas? He's not used to that green monster out there in left field, but he made a great play. We talked about this a couple times during this series, but it's not padded out there. So it's really scary for an outfielder to go crashing into that wall. Nathan Lucas with a great play. Looks like he's healthy right now, too, so that's a good thing.
He jumped up and back. His arm hit the wall, and then he fell right onto his backside into the fence and crashed back into the dirt. 2 outs, bases empty, 1-1 game, and the pitch down and away to Tristan Casas, 1-0.
And how big is that errant throw from Alejandro Kirk now in this inning?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility Duran steals third again, but probably that's the difference between a sac fly and a regular fly-up. 1-0. Called strike. Casas back in today after having the day off against a lefty starter yesterday. Still trying to get in a groove, batting .179, 7 for 39 on the season. The 1-1. Just inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
There was just a shot on the Sportsnet broadcast of Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Bowden Francis, and Easton Lucas hanging out. How about that? I bet he feels pretty good there.
All in their beanies. They got to get Lucas the jacket, though. The other 3 have matching jackets. 2-1, fouled back, 2-2.
It doesn't look like he's saying anything. I think he's just taking in the information right now.
I think when Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett are there, I don't think Bowden says much. If I had to
That's
guess.
true.
2 outs, bases empty, 1-1 game, bottom of the first. And the 2-2 pitch to Tristan Casas, about to come from Kevin Gausman. He's looking in towards the catcher, Alejandro Kirk. Righty set, kicks and offers. Just outside, ball 3.
Not a bad pitch, a little bit off the plate outside. A good take from Tristan Casas, but another good frame job by Alejandro Kirk, making that look like a pretty good pitch.
Gausman bouncing that lead left foot. Comes still and deals. 3-2 pitch hit high. Deep right field. Some room for Rodin. He stops 10 feet in front of the track, makes the catch, and ends the inning. Leadoff single for Duran. His speed gets him all the way to third with the help of an error from Alejandro Kirk, and then a sac fly from Alex Bregman ties it at 1 as we go to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From shifting tariffs and trade policies,
we're seeing more turmoil in global stock markets,
to ongoing stock market volatility.
It's a very confusing time if you're trying to figure out what happens next.
The SiriusXM Business Channel for in-depth, around-the-clock coverage of the financial markets, economic developments, and key business trends impacting your investments.
We're live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or trying to better understand what's moving the economy, SiriusXM brings the business world to you, starting at Channel 112 and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yo, hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
I'm Mike Farron. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary. Bet365, 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. First pitch down and in, ball 1 to Alan Rodin. Now Tanner Houck into the wind. Next offering is hit on the ground to first base. Love there by Casas, who flips back to Houck. 1 down.
And you can see just how much movement that sweeper has. It started in the right-handed batter's box, actually, and broke to the inner third of the plate. That's his bread and butter right there. Such an elite sweeper. I hate saying sweeper, but it's a sweeper.
He gets a ton of swing and miss on that sweeper. His pitch to Ernie Clement is another sweeper inside, ball 1. Batters swung and missed 30% of the time last year when they offered at it. This year, over 40%. 1-0 pitch, another one. It's inside, 2-0. Ernie Clement's at the plate. The 2-0 offering is down and away, or at least it's called that way. Looks pretty good, but it's 3-0. 4 walks already on the season for Ernie Clement. 3 for 24. 3-0. Ball strike, sinker down the middle.
That sinker has so much movement. I don't know why he doesn't trust it more. Needs to get ahead with that sweeper down, that sinker down and away. Such a good pitch.
Next pitch. Another sinker called a strike. 3-2. Ernie got the start yesterday, went 1 for 5, 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the sweeper. First K of the day for Houck, 2 down.
And that had 0-2 location and 0-2 movement. You usually don't see a pitch like that, 3-2, but such a good pitch, so much movement. Ernie Clement way out in front of that thing.
So 2 down as the Blue Jays visit the Red Sox for a third straight day. 1-1 in the top of the second inning, and Houck deals to Nathan Lucas. Swing and a ground ball, snared by the third baseman Bregman. A throw on to first, and that'll do it for the top of the second. Blue Jays go down in order. We'll be back in a minute. 1-1 ball game, middle of 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, 1-1 between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. If you're looking for the Raptors' final game of the season, you can listen to Hornets at Raptors at 7:30 p.m. streaming on Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app on the alternate stream. First pitch of the bottom of the second, fouled back by Trevor Story right into the face mask of home plate umpire Corey Blazer. It's 0-1.
Yeah, you can see Alejandro Kirk taking his time throwing that baseball back to Kevin Gausman, giving Corey Blazer just a couple of seconds to regroup.
The 0-1. Swing and a line drive right field, caught by Rodin head high. Good contact from Story, but 1 out. I'm going to bring up Wilyer Abreu, one of the hotter hitters to start this season, although he has not shown that much so far in this series. He didn't get a start yesterday, but came on as a substitute and lined out in his one pinch hit at bat and went 0 for 4 in his lone start, so 0 for 5 overall, 2 strikeouts in the series. First pitch from Gausman, called a strike, 0-1. Right on left offering. Popped up left side. Racing over into foul territory is Clement, and that bounces near his feet. I think he misjudged that a little bit. He was running toward the Blue Jay dugout. Pulled up like that was going out of play, and it landed right in front of him.
I wonder if it came back.
Maybe hit something above that we didn't see.
Tough play nonetheless. You don't want to hit that low railing and then flip over. I'm sure he had that in the back of his mind as well.
Plus, he is playing way off the line with a left-handed hitter up, so it's a longer run than it usually would be.
And he's sprinting towards that low railing. I wouldn't want to hit it.
Just let Gausman take care of it. Here's the 0-2. Hit on the ground, back to the mound. Picked up by Kevin Gausman, and he'll underhand flip to Will Wagner at first. 2 outs.
Well, the first split finger to Wilyer Abreu was one that he pushed, and it's almost like he realized, hey, I have to get on top of this pitch for it to be an effective pitch. 2 split fingers after that, both had a ton of depth, so obviously he got on top of those last 2 split fingers. That last one right there was his best of the night so far.
Gausman's still trying to figure it out a little bit and find his form. He's been solid in the first 2 starts, but not quite the usual self. First pitch slider to Campbell, misses inside, ball 1.
I think the results have been fine. It's just more how good do you want to be? Do you want to be dominant? I think he needs to stay on top of that split finger
and punch a couple more guys out by doing that. 1-0 to Campbell. Fastball for a strike, 1-1. 1-1 game. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the second. Christian Campbell, the rookie playing in center field today, was the starting second baseman yesterday. Takes a 1-1 outside, 2-1. But for Gausman, 4 strikeouts in the first start he had this year, none in the last one. That's the fewest strikeouts he's had in his first 2 starts of a year in his career. Striking guys out is somewhat fundamental to his success, as the 2-1s hit foul off the back ankle of the batter Campbell, 2-2.
It also allows you to give up less earned runs, or less runs in general. You have a big run at third base, you have a big run at second base. You can get a quick strikeout and then a fly ball to center field, and you don't end up giving that run. If you don't strike that guy out and you get the fly ball to center field before the strikeout, that run ends up scoring.
2-2 pitch called. Strike 3. Second K so far for Gausman as he gets through a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. 1-1 game as we go to the third at Fenway. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers on St. Clair and on Laird Avenue in Toronto. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 1-1 game, top of the order for Toronto. Bo Bichette takes the first pitch up high from Tanner Houck, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman, alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali hosting and producing today. Tom Young, our technical director. Bichette takes a strike, 1-1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. waiting on deck, the 1-1. Chop left side foul, 1-2. Became official today, Chris, the 14-year, $500 million pact between the Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They got the physical done. Vladdy spoke to the media. Ross Atkins spoke to the media. Statement was given as well from Mark Shapiro. 1-2 pitch. And a slow swing roller over to first base. Casas picks it up, flips it back to Houck. 1 down.
How about those details in the contract?
Yeah, so Shai Davidi came out with some of the details. You would know a lot more about the mechanisms of this stuff than I do. But for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the details as put out by Sportsnet's Shai Davidi on Twitter. No deferred money, no opt-outs, full no-trade clause. That stuff we already knew. Deal includes a $325 million signing bonus. $20 million of that bonus payable this year as Vlad fouls off the first pitch with 1 out. It's 0-1. So $20 million of the bonus is paid out this year before the contract takes effect, which is 2026 to 2039, and the rest of the bonus spread out over the duration of the deal.
And I believe Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a Florida resident, so that's no state income tax, so that saves him a lot of money. I'm sure that's why they did it that way.
0-1 pitch is hammered foul. 0-2.
which is another one of the details that obviously the agent and the lawyers, they're all trying to figure out with Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro.
And as far as I understand it, it doesn't really matter to the Blue Jays whether they pay it out signing bonus to start the year or as the year goes on. 0-2. Swing and a pop-up in between the plate and first base. Tristan Casas with the loud call and catch. 2 down.
Well, Tanner Houck was parked underneath that pop-up from Vlad, and you could hear Tristan Casas screaming at him, I got it, I got it. Tanner Houck immediately got out of the way. Like I've said a couple of times already this week, the pitcher should not be catching a pop-up. He is the most unathletic person on that field. Allow the first baseman or the second baseman, whoever calls that baseball, to come in and make an easy catch.
You prove that point every time a foul ball gets hit at us. First pitch to Anthony Santander, down and away, ball 1.
I can't even walk and chew gum at the same time.
2 outs, base is empty, 1-1 game, top of the 3rd. Right on left pitch to Santander, called strike. Just to wrap up on the Vlad extension, Mark Shapiro put out the statement, quote, this is a monumental moment in franchise history. Continue that in a sec. First, Houck into the line, 1-1, low 2-1. Pick up the quote with him saying, Vlad has been part of our Blue Jays family since he was 16 years old and has captured the heart of our city and country. There are very few people in the game today that can say they have played for more than 2 decades with the same team, and we are immensely grateful. Blue Jays fans will get to see Vlad finish his career where it all began. Next pitch down and away, 3-1. He finished up saying, the name Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will forever be synonymous with the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's pretty cool.
The 3-1. Swing and a fly ball to right field, medium depth. Coming in, Wilyer Abreu makes the catch and ends the inning. A tidy 1-2-3 third for Tanner Houck, who's retired the last 8 he's seen. Middle of the 3rd, still a 1-1 game between the Blue Jays and Red Sox. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Home plate is home plans. Score the run with Timbermart.ca. Find a major league selection of winning plays for house, garage, and backyard sheds. Visit Timbermart.ca and win the game with Canada's Building Center. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 1-1 game, bottom of the 3rd. Blue Jays in Boston. And the first pitch outside to David Hamilton. Kevin Gausman deals home and misses down and in. 2-0. Hamilton, a left-handed hitting second baseman, got the day off yesterday. Started in the opener 2 days ago. Takes a 2-0 for a called strike.
Good location there, but 89 miles an hour. The velocity is a little bit down tonight. We can blame that on the cold.
The 2-1. fastball hit high in the air, shallow left field near the line. Long run Santander slides to make the catch on the side warning track. Just got it in fair territory, 1 out.
Another scary play for an outfielder. He's sprinting towards that short wall over there in foul territory in left field, and he's able to slide and make that catch. What a play from Santander.
They decide to give Santander the assignment in left field today. Alan Rodin the assignment in right field. There's probably a couple different things you could factor into where you want to play your outfielders at Fenway. First, the pitch to Carlos Narvaez is hit foul off to the right, 0-1. So if you look at Rodin versus Santander, Rodin is by far the rangier outfielder, but Santander's got the stronger arm. Usually, you put the stronger arm guy in right field. The 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. However, right field is so much larger than left field at Fenway Park. It seems from the outside, at least, the Blue Jays went with the range of Rodin to cover that big right field and stuck Santander in left field where there's a little less ground to cover. 0-2 to Narvaez. Slider outside, ball 1.
I thought Alan Rodin did a good job last night navigating that green monster. He made one kind of questionable play early on, and then after that he seemed relatively comfortable, with the back up against the wall, kind of feeling for that wall. He did a good job.
1-2, swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball. Third strikeout for Gausman with 2 down in the bottom of the third.
And just when Alan Rodin feels good in left field, let's move him over to right.
He will bounce a lot this year. If George Springer's in right field. I think they feel comfortable with his ability to cover all that ground in right. But a day off today for Springer. 2 outs, bases empty. Top of the order for the Red Sox. Jaron Duran takes down an away ball 1.
How about Char throwing out the first pitch? How tall is he? Like 6'8", 6'7"?
Yeah, I would think maybe 6'9".
6'9"?
Think.
You're thinking with skates probably.
I might be. 1-0 to Duran. Downstairs 2-0. I'm seeing 6'9" on Hockey Database. Hockey Reference also saying 6'9".
Wow.
I think he might have been 6'11" on skates.
That's too tall.
It's insane. 2-0. Swing and a grounder right side. Backhanded by Wagner. Flip back to Gausman, who just beats Duran to the bag to end the inning. Kevin Gausman and Tanner Houck going punch for punch through 3 innings. It's 1-1 between the Blue Jays and Red Sox. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan to the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand. No bundle required.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-1 game, top of the fourth, and Andres Jimenez leading off for the Blue Jays against the Boston Red Sox. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. First pitch from Tanner Houck, strike one. If you're looking for the last home game of the season for the Toronto Raptors, they take on the Hornets tonight in Toronto, 7:30 Eastern. That starts streaming on Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app on the alternate stream. Last home game of the season for the Raptors. Jimenez takes outside. It's 1-1. Houck winds and offers. Outside, 2-1. Blue Jays with 3 hits in the first inning. Don't have a base runner since. Next pitch, outside again, 3-1. Nice to see one of those hits come from Andres Jimenez, though, because he entered today 1 for 15 on the road trip after a huge homestand. The numbers have somewhat normalized. 3-1. Outside, ball 4. He'll take a walk on for the second time today.
Yeah, good job right there from Andres Jimenez. A lot of pitches off the plate outside. Tanner Houck was really trying to throw that sweeper on the outside part. He actually does that pretty well for the majority of the time, but that one right there, just off the plate outside, a good eye from Andres Jimenez.
Definitely a threat to run with Will Wagner coming up. Jimenez has 3 stolen bases to lead the Blue Jays so far. First pitch outside, ball 1.
Tanner Houck was actually trying to be quick to the plate there, and you could see the arm dragging just a little bit, and he missed arm side wide. I mean, that's what speed does. It puts it, it makes it harder for the pitcher really to throw strikes and to throw his pitch.
1-0, called strike. We're in the 4th inning, which is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 51st pitch for Tanner Houck is hit back foul, 1-2. In a second, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. But first, Will Wagner facing a 1-ball, 2-strike count with Jimenez on first, no outs. The pitch. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wagner 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to second base and had an RBI on that ground out in the first inning. Here's the 2-2. Runner goes, pitches line to right field. It's hanging up, though, and caught by Abreu. Throw back to first in time to double up Jimenez. 2 outs.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
2 outs in the inning, so we'll quickly go over to the most important game on the ice tonight. Maple Leafs and Lightning battling in Tampa Bay. And right now, it's the Leafs up 2-0 as Alejandro Kirk takes strike 1. Early goals from the top line. Mitch Marner from Austin Matthews, and then Matthew Nyes off a rebound from Matthews and Marner. 0-1 to Kirk, called strike, 0-2. Leafs up 2 points on the Lightning. Both have 5 games remaining, including tonight. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 2 down, bases empty. The 0-2 to Kirk. Swing and a miss, strike 3. After the leadoff single, Houck bounces back with a line-out double play and a strikeout to make it a 3rd consecutive scoreless inning. 1-1 game, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this this time? You've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. A solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and launches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Still tied up at 1 as we go to the back half of the 4th inning. Blue Jays at Fenway Park. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kevin Gausman back out on the hill after giving up the leadoff single to Jarren Duran. He's retired the last 9 batters he faces, although that includes a sac fly. Looking to keep it going here against Rafael Devers. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball left field. Backing up into the corner, Santander. And that one hits off the hands of a fan, I should say, who looked to maybe be reaching over the field of play, but they'll say no interference. It's 0-1.
I don't think Santander had a chance at that one. That was I think that was in the stands.
Yeah, he'd probably need a ladder. But funny too, Santander threw it up to the fan that tried to catch it, who dropped it initially. The fan dropped it again, so he just picked someone else.
As he should.
Hey, it's the big leagues. So 1 strike on Devers. Kevin Gausman making his 27th start of his career against the Red Sox. 32nd appearance overall. Would have seen them a lot, of course, as an Oriole, and then again as a Blue Jay. His 0-1. Swing and a drive out to left center, and that's going to get down in the gap and bounce up against the wall. Played off the fence by Lucas. Devers digging for second, slides in with the double.
Well, Alejandro Kirk was set up in off the plate, and Kevin Gausman threw that slider, just a little spinner right over the middle of the plate, and Rafael Devers hammered that thing. That pitch was middle. Not where you want to be if you want to get Rafael Devers out, that's for sure.
Kevin Gausman has not had great success against the Red Sox in his career, a 4.40 ERA. Devers has been a big part of that. That's his 6th double off of Gausman in his career. He's now 10 for 32 against the righty. Pitch to Alex Bregman, down and away, ball 1.
And that's too bad, too, because he was ahead in the count, 0-1. You should be able to expand the zone, get him to maybe hit some weak contact, but he threw that thing right down the middle.
1-0 to Bregman. Called low, pretty good pitch, 2-0.
And Alejandro Kirk actually caught that baseball, realized that Corey Blazer called it a ball, and kind of dropped his shoulders, dropped his glove.
Kirk setting up outside. 2-0 offering. Call to strike. While Gausman has struggled against the Red Sox in his career, he pitched the Blue Jays to wins each of the last 2 times he faced them in 2024, and 3 out of the 4 times overall. 2-1 pitch hit on the ground. Foul, 2-2. .45 pitches so far for Gausman. Runner on second, no outs. 1-1 game, bottom of the 4th. 2-2 to Bregman. Hit well, left field, but that's going to go foul.
So Kevin Gausman just threw 2 very good split fingers. 1 down and away for strike 1. 1 down and in for strike 2. And then he just floated 1 in there with 2 strikes. That is a no-no. If you're going to throw a 3rd one there, you better get that thing below the strike zone. It almost ended up over the green monster.
Another 2-2. Splitter in the dirt, full count.
If you're going to throw a 4th one, you better get that thing below the strike zone.
First base is open, but you don't like to start an inning with 2 on and nobody out. Payoff pitch. Hit foul. Elevated fastball, and Bregman stayed on it.
Hey, that velo's in there. That one right there was 95 miles an hour.
Gausman hasn't had that all night tonight, but the velo has been much more consistent this year than it was last year. 3-2. Foul tip, strike 3, 95 again, right in on the hands. 1 out.
Yeah, that might have been a ball. You could see Alex Bregman shaking his head a little bit, but that's a really good pitch inside by about a ball at 95 miles an hour for a big out.
It's interesting. That's another strikeout for Gausman on the heater. 3 of those so far, and maybe he can get more strikeouts by pitching backwards instead of getting guys on the splitter now, surprising them with fastballs. Gausman's going to step off and look back at Devers, who scampered back quickly to the bag. There was no one there. But he got back quick anyway, and now Tristan Casas up to the plate, left-handed hitting first baseman.
Well, Bo Bichette wasn't even looking. He wasn't even looking at what was happening.
Gausman's pitch. Check swing, called strike.
That surprised Tristan Casas. A good fastball inside. Probably expecting a split finger or a slider there.
0-1. Fastball in, 1-1. He's going real fastball heavy with the last 3-4 pitches.
Yeah, I like that. You really have to bust Casas in because he has those long arms, loves to get extended. I mean, he might throw a split finger here, but I would still come back in with a fastball at some point.
1-1 pitch, fastball at the knees, outside corner, 1-2.
And there's no better pitch in baseball than a good fastball down and away, whether it's to a lefty, whether it's to a righty. I mean, that pitch right there, down and away, right on the corners, almost impossible to hit.
Still the most thrown pitch in the game, the fastball, even though it's less than it used to be. 1-2. Check swing on a high heater, appeal down to third. He did not go. 2-2. Or pardon me, he did. Strikeout for Kevin Gausman, and there are 2 down.
And that fastball there was 96 miles an hour. Not where he wanted it, but a very effective pitch. Tristan Casas just barely swings at that thing.
So a 5th strikeout for Gausman. Most he's had in his 3 starts this season.
Yeah, keep in mind, he had 0 strikeouts in his last game against the New York Mets.
Two down. Devers still on second after the leadoff double. Here's Trevor Story. The pitch. Called strike, and a bit of a gift there for Gausman, 0-1. Your Story, you really don't like that. He's a career 3 for 27 off Kevin Gausman. He does not need an expanded zone. The 0-1. Outside.
He's really feeling that 4-seamer now. He's locating that thing all over the strike zone. That one there, a little bit outside, but you could tell he's got a good feel for it.
Maybe just starting to heat up on a cold night in Boston. He's had more zip on the heater this inning than any of the other 3. It's 1-1 fastball is hit foul, 94, and it's 1-2.
Alejandro Kirk nodding his head. I love that when catchers acknowledge that you've thrown a good pitch. Either they pound that bare hand into the glove or they give you a nod. It makes you feel good as a pitcher.
1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Devers on second, 1-1 game. Gausman looks back at second base. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Another heater, and he got him. 3 strikeouts in a row for Gausman to end a scoreless inning. 1-1 game after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Give the new spring era retro kick with an all-new classic vinyl spring mix on the SiriusXM app. Featuring timeless classics from the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and ELO. To feel-good anthems by Elton John, Bruce Springsteen, U2, and more. Bring this season to life with the classic vinyl spring mix. Search Spring Fever on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yo, hey, Ohtani connect.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Net Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, presented by Crown Rust Protection. Top of the fifth, 1-1 game with a full moon in Boston. The first pitch from Tanner Houck lands in the zone to Alan Roden. 0-1.
And that's that good sweeper, that one that he steals a quick strike, usually to left-handed hitters. He starts it off the plate outside. Most lefties aren't going to swing at that pitch either.
Misses down low with the splitter, 1-1. It's got so much movement. It's way in the righty batter's box when he throws it to a lefty before it cuts back in. 1-1. Swing and a ball hit on the ground to second base. Picked up by David Hamilton. Throw to first. 1 out.
And Tanner Houck's arm angle is probably three-quarters, low three-quarters, so he gets a lot of horizontal movement on that sweeper. I mean, I was a left-handed hitter. I hated when right-handed pitchers had that horizontal movement on a breaking ball and they would just start it in the right-handed batter's box. It's impossible to hit, really.
First pitch to Ernie Clement. Outside with the sweeper, 1-0. Clement struck out on a sweeper back in the second inning, a 3-2 pitch. 1-0. Another sweeper down and away, 2-0. Mentioned yesterday, seeing more patience from Ernie Clement, especially early in at-bats this year than last year. 2-0. Swing and a looping liner, shallow right field. Abreu coming in, makes the catch, 2 down. You look at Clement's year last year, it was Don Mattingly-like in the fact that almost no at-bats, or plate appearances rather, ended in walks or strikeouts. The ball was in play all the time. This year, the walks are way up for Clement in terms of percentage, but the strikeouts are way up as well as he sits deeper into counts. 2 down and the base is empty, and the pitch to Nathan Lucas. Called strike. Houck winds and offers. And the 0-1 is lined out to left field, hanging up, caught by Duran to end the inning. Tanner Houck is cruising, facing the minimum for a fourth consecutive inning. 1-1 game, middle of the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on SiriusXM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Rafinha!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, our technical director. 1-1 game, Wilyer Abreu leading off in the pitch. Hit foul out of play 0-1. Wilyer Abreu coming off a heck of a rookie season. Gold Glover in right field, received some down ballot Rookie of the Year votes and contributed a lot at the plate as well. The 0-1. Fouled off the mask of the home plate umpire, Corey Blazer. That's the second one he's taken to the face today. It's 0-2. Abreu last year played in 132 games. He had a freak injury where he tripped down the dugout steps and sprained his ankle, but played every day outside of that and hit 15 homers, high 700s, 781 OPS. Drove in nearly 60 runs, over 30 doubles. Oh-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Doesn't matter who's up right now. Kevin Gausman has struck out 4 in a row. 1 down.
Such a good pitch. Like I said last inning, obviously he's found something with that four-seam fastball. He's really using it more now in the last couple of innings than he did earlier in the ball game. Wilyer Abreu was blown away by that fastball up and away.
The 4 strikeouts in a row, all on four-seam fastballs. The 7 strikeouts today, all on four-seam fastballs as the pitch misses low to Campbell, 1-0.
But just for reference to the Wilyer Abreu freak injury, the dugouts at Fenway are tiny and the steps are really steep, so you actually have to be careful when you're going down those steps.
1-0. Low 2-0. Blame that early 20th century architect. He was not thinking about the grand nature of what Major League Baseball would be today, although everything else he pretty much nailed because the ballpark's still standing. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
I don't think they've changed the dugout since they made it.
They've barely changed anything at Fenway Park. They've done a little bit of work on the inside, the player facilities, but still not that much. 2-1. Swing and a miss at another splitter, 2-2.
I'm wondering if fans and just people in general are getting so used to the creature comforts of these billion-dollar stadiums now that when you go to Fenway, you're like, it's cool, but my back hurts, or I can't see, or you know what I mean?
The seats are tight.
Right.
They're small. 2-2. Hit back foul into the backstop. Nearly lost his helmet to Campbell.
I mean, even Wrigley has changed a lot of things. It doesn't really even feel like Wrigley that much anymore.
For me, that's what makes Fenway great. Yeah. I love it. I think it isn't for everyone, but the cramped feeling, poles right in front of some seats. 2-2. Chopped foul, third base side. It feels 100 years old. Wrigley, like you said, I mean, Wrigley is awesome. Not to take away from Wrigley, but Wrigley doesn't necessarily feel 100 years old. The Ivy, sure, and there's a ton of tradition in that ballpark, but they've made it comfortable. They have a whole new clubhouse. The seats are nice, so it's a very different kind of atmosphere. 2-2. Fouled back again.
For people that haven't been to Wrigley or haven't seen the visiting clubhouse, I guess, the visiting clubhouse actually had a walkway above the concourse, and you would walk down and you could see the people below you. It was so interesting. Not to mention it was tiny. It was a tiny, tiny clubhouse. You better be friendly with the guy next to you.
2-2. Called strike 3. Another punch out for Gausman on a fastball. Campbell whips his bat into the ground. 2 outs.
Well, you could tell Campbell wasn't expecting that pitch, that location. 95 miles an hour, down and away, unhittable. What a pitch.
Gausman has struck out 5 batters in a row. It's still 1-1, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th.
And it's the fastball. I'm telling you, he really found the command and the release point of that fastball.
First pitch fastball hit in the air by David Hamilton. Coming into left center field, Nathan Lucas reels it in, and it's not a strikeout, but it counts all the same. And out for Gausman, and a 1-2-3, bottom of the fifth. We got a pitcher's duel, 1-1, going to the sixth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bases loaded. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays won, Red Sox won. Game 3 of the series at Fenway Park. Toronto trying to make it 3 in a row. But the big question here, which starting pitcher is going to break first after they both gave up runs in the first inning? Tanner Houck and Kevin Gausman have been great.
Well, Kevin Gausman obviously has been really, really good, but Tanner Houck is showing signs of kind of finding himself as well. He hasn't been good the last couple of starts. He was terrible in spring training, but I think he's finding the release point of that really good sweeper that really makes him good.
Houck is going to go third time through the order. Bo Bichette leading off, 0 for 2. Right on right pitch. Swing and a liner back over the mound. Picked on a hop by Hamilton. Long throw for the second baseman in time. 1 out. Heck of a play from Hamilton. And with that, let's go over to the out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. A couple finals already, including the Yankees downing the Tigers today to avoid losing 3 in a row. At 4-3 game in favor of New York. Snapped a 5-game win streak for the Tigers. Diamondbacks beat up on the Orioles today, 9-0. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. down the middle, strike 1.
I feel like you haven't given us an update in a while from Steinbrenner Field.
I haven't. You want one?
I just like the fact that they're playing at a minor league ballpark.
And that it has the name of a division rival's former owner. Yeah. 0-1, down and away, 1-1. Well, at Steinbrenner Field, the Rays mounted a 4-run first inning to jump ahead of the Angels 4-1. Jose Caballero hit a grand slam for his first home run of the year. 1-1. Guerrero swings and pops it up. Back behind the plate, foul out of play. 1-2.
Thank you for that.
There you go. Did you see the thing the Rays did yesterday? They lost a narrow game to the Angels 4-3. Get to it in a sec. First with 1 out and the base is empty. The 1-2 offering from Tanner Houck. Vladdy takes it, ball 2. The Rays had a runner on third and nobody out in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and did not score a single one of them. 2-2. Swing and a foul off again from Vlad.
That's tough luck.
It's hard to do.
I mean, 3 innings in a row, it's pretty tough. Even it doesn't matter who's on the mound. It could be the best pitcher of baseball. 3 innings in a row, it's almost...
That's 6 chances to hit a fly ball.
Yeah.
Or a ground ball to the right spot, or for a wild pitch to happen. 2-2 to Vlad. Swing and a liner, left field, sinking, and it's down under the dive of Duran, who blocked it off the stomach, luckily, so Guerrero stops at first with a single, his second hit today.
I feel like Duran could have caught that baseball.
I think he overdove.
Yeah, he overdove that baseball, and that ball hit him in the heel. I think if you give him 10 chances to catch that same baseball, he probably catches it 9 out of 10 times, maybe 8 out of 10 times.
Might have had weird spin. It was off the handle, a bit of a broken bat liner out there. Duran, who was a Gold Glove finalist in center last year, doesn't come up with it. Guerrero on first. The pitch to Santander, called a strike, 0-1. Other news on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, now 2-1 after a period for the Leafs over the Lightning. Nick Perbix with a goal from the point for Tampa Bay, assisted by Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel. 0-1 to Santander, hit on the ground foul, 0-2.
And you told me off air, because I don't follow Leafs hockey, I only follow Canadians hockey, that this is a big game.
This is a huge game.
All right.
If the Maple Leafs win, they're up 4 points for the division lead with 4 games remaining for both teams. If they lose, the Lightning have tied the Leafs in points with 4 games left. 0-2. Santander takes it well outside, ball 1.
Tried to go backdoor with that sweeper.
Although I think the target was in, and Houck just really got behind it. One, 2. Miss outside again.
Yeah, you're right. I think they're trying to come in with that sweeper again. Just a little spinner almost in the middle of the batter's box, that right-handed batter's box.
It's evened up the count at 2-2. Santander with a base hit and a fly out today. Guerrero on first. 1-1 game, 1 out. Top half of the 6th. Houck kicks and fires. Swing and a rope to first base. Caught on a line by Casas. He steps on the bag to double off Guerrero, who was frozen in place. And that'll do it for the inning. Good contact, but a brutal result for the Blue Jays there. Another inning facing the minimum for Tanner Houck, his 5th in a row, and it's 1-1, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper. I am so excited for you guys to hear Unwell on Air, your one-stop destination for all things trending, curated by me. All of your favorite content from the Unwell Network, plus exclusive new live shows that keep you in the know. We're breaking down the latest in pop culture and opening up the phone lines because I want you to join the conversation. Oh my God, let's go. Unwell on Air, exclusively on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Let the games begin.
On SiriusXM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the SiriusXM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The SiriusXM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Bottom 6, 1-1, Blue Jays and Red Sox. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Another inning of work for Kevin Gausman, who's had his best start of the season thus far. 5 innings, 1 run allowed on 2 hits. He's punched out 8. His pitch to Carlos Narvaez is fouled back, 0-1.
Not only has he punched out 8, but he's walked none. That is one impressive start for Kevin Gausman so far.
And the run, if you weren't with us in the first, is an unearned run. After giving up a single, Duran stole second, and an error advanced him to third, which allowed the Red Sox to hit a sac fly. Would not have been in a sac fly situation had that error not been committed. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
And even that fastball, that was 91, but it just got on Narvaez.
10th career Major League start for Carlos Narvaez. 0-2. Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Red Sox potentially going to ask a lot from him after Connor Wong broke his left pinky on a catcher's interference play in Game 1. Wong, a guy who started over 200 games the last couple of years. Narvaez, again, has started 10. He hits the 1-2 foul to stay alive. And he was just picked up this offseason from the New York Yankees. So in a time where he's probably still getting familiar, he's going to be catching most of the time, according to Alex Cora. 1-2. Hit foul on the ground once more.
That was one of the rare times tonight where Kevin Gausman just pushed that split finger, kind of floated through the strike zone.
You said it. His fastball has been his best pitch tonight. 1-2 once more, and it's a fastball up high, 2-2. Gausman's had 11 swings and misses tonight. 8 of them have come on the fastball. He kicks and offers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another heater for another strikeout. Make it 9. 1 out.
There's just so much explosion through the strike zone. It's almost like it picks up speed as it gets to the dirt. Just blows that ball by Narvaez.
Gausman struck out 9 or more 4 different times last year. He's done it for the first time this season tonight. His pitch to Jarren Duran, swing and a miss at a fastball, 0-1. He actually reached 10 exactly 4 times last year. Is 0-1. Swing and a miss at another fastball. Why throw anything else? It's 0-2.
He might throw something else.
Yeah, not literally. A little bit of hyperbole.
I mean, if I'm Kevin Gausman, I might sprinkle in a split finger down below the strike zone, maybe try to bounce it. But then I'm coming right back to that 4-seamer up around the hands.
The 2-strike pitch. High fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. 10 punch-outs for Gausman.
And I bet Jarren Duran thought the same thing I thought. There's no way he's throwing three in a row. He's going to try to fool me with a little split finger down out of the strike zone, then he'll come back with the fastball. And you could tell by that swing, he was definitely expecting something softer than that. Good call from you.
It's the gambler's fallacy. Just because red hit this time doesn't mean black's any more likely the next one. First pitch to Rafael Devers is a splitter, down and away, ball 1.
It is funny you mentioned that. Whenever I go to Vegas, I look at that screen that they have, and I'm just like, this means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's 10 blacks in a row. Now it's going to be red. Now, could be anything. Two outs and the base is empty. Rafael Devers up in a 1-1 game, bottom 6. The pitch. Line to right field, and that one's going to get down in one hop over the fence. Automatic double. Pick the short wall right near Pesky's pull, and it's a ground rule double for Devers, who has 2 of the 3 Red Sox hits today.
And like we said, but Rafael Devers loves that slower pitch, whether it's a split finger, whether it's a breaking ball below the strike zone. That was a really tough pitch, a split finger that he yanked down and in, but left-handers love that slow stuff down and in, and he just hammered that thing. One hop that wall in right field.
Pitch down to Bregman, hit on the ground to short. Vacuumed up Bichette, sidearm sling to first, and that's the inning. So a little trouble with the 2-out double, but not too much for Kevin Gausman. Another scoreless frame. He strands Devers on second. 1-1 as we head to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
The countdown is on. Are you ready? For the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet.
Strap yourselves in for the best ride in sports.
Feel the intensity rise.
It's time to turn things up a notch.
Be here for all the drama, where one shot, one save, one moment can decide everything. See who will raise hockey's ultimate prize.
Let's get this thing going.
16 teams, one champion. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin April 19th on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 7th inning is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. 1-1 game. That's the way it's been since the first inning. Now in the top of the 7th. Tanner Houck still on the mound on 75 pitches. He winds and offers to Andres Jimenez. Jimenez shows a bunt, pulls it back, takes strike one.
That sinker from Houck right there moved all over the place. That would have been a tough pitch to bunt.
Third baseman Bregman is drawn in. 0-1. Swing and a liner to right field. Base hit for Andres Jimenez. 2 hits and a walk. They haven't retired him yet.
Now I want him at second base. Get him to second base any way you can. Preferably, I'd like to see him steal this bag, but...
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. They tried to do that in the 4th inning. Last time he was on, Will Wagner was up, and Wagner lined the ball to right field. Wilyer Abreu caught it, threw back to first to double up Andres Jimenez. First pitch to Wagner, down and away, ball 1. That was kind of a freak thing. You'd still expect them to be thinking about it now, especially in this 1-1 game in the latter stages. Out kicks and deals. Called strike, splitter at the knees.
Pretty good split finger right there. Sure, Will Wagner wasn't expecting that. He hasn't thrown many split fingers tonight. It's been mostly just the sweeper and the sinker. Just flips that one in there.
The 1-1. Outside with the splitter, 2-1. Hasn't been a lot of swing and miss from Tanner Houck. Only 2 strikeouts, but he's got a lot of weak contact. He's been a little fortunate with 2 line-out double plays. He's figured it out. Pitching in the 7th inning. The 2-1. High and outside, ball 3. 3 straight arm side misses.
Yeah, those two line-out double plays are a pitcher's best friend.
Right.
I mean,
hard contact and somehow 2 outs.
Some guy just rips us a line drive and it turns into a double play. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Anthony Santander's a foot one way or the other way would have been extra base hits, and Vladdy might have scored from first base. Instead, it was 2 outs in the inning over. After those misses, Carlos Narvaez out to the mound. We'll go quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Now 4-2 for the Rays over the Angels at George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay. Taylor Ward hit his first home run of the year to cut the deficit to 2. A couple finals from earlier. Pittsburgh went 13 innings with St. Louis before the Pirates walked off the Cardinals. Joey Bart, involved in a scary collision on defense in that game, stayed in and had the walk-off single. 3-1. Wagner hits it down the left field line, slicing out a play foul, full count. Also on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard, a lot of eyes on Dallas, Texas tonight as the Mavericks host Luka Doncic for the first time. And Doncic not disappointing, 14 points in the first quarter of that game, but the Mavericks up by 4. 3-2. Jimenez takes off and Wagner fouls it away. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1-1, Blue Jays and Red Sox, top of the 7th. No outs and Andres Jimenez on first.
Andres Jimenez has taken off the last 2 pitches. I'd imagine he's tired right now, but he's probably going to go again here.
And he will on the 3-2. It's high, ball 4. The throw down to second, but it doesn't matter. It'll be a walk for Wagner. So for all the heavy breathing, Jimenez does not get any reward for the sprints back and forth, but he does go up to second, 2 on with nobody out.
And I guess the question now is, do you bunt these guys over? My answer is no, just because Alejandro Kirk is so good at going the other way, but he's also a double play candidate. That's what you have to worry about, right? So John Schneider has to make a pretty important decision here.
Kirk also a guy with a not extensive history of bunting. He has never successfully sacrifice bunted in his career. I don't have the numbers on how many times he's attempted it, but I would guess it's close to 0 as well.
And Tanner Houck has a really good sinker, so it makes it even that much harder to get that bunt down. A 4-seam fastball, easy to get down. A fastball changeup guy, easy to bunt on. But Tanner Houck is really hard to bunt on. The Red Sox are actually bringing the corners in, expecting something here.
Well, if you don't want to bunt him, why not double steal? Got the speedy Jimenez on second, Wagner on first, no outs. Houck from the stretch comes set and deals home. First pitch outside, ball 1. This could be Houck's last batter. The lefty Justin Wilson has been loosening up for a while, and after Kirk, 2 of the next 3 Blue Jays hit left. 1-0. Hit foul on the ground, third base side, 1-1.
I guess John Schneider's taking that chance.
Yeah, they went for the double steal there. But the Blue Jays runners have to go back. Jimenez was off from second and Wagner was off from first.
How about Justin Wilson? He's been around for 200 years.
1-1. Outside, 2-1. Houck approaching 90 pitches. He's faced the minimum in the last 5 innings. He'd have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to do that again here in the 7th. 2-1. Swing and a pop-up hit behind the plate into the seats, foul, 2-2. Again, Wagner on first, Jimenez on second. 1-1 game, nobody out, top of the 7th. Kirk steps in, taps the middle of the plate, and then the far corner and looks out to Houck. Righty's 2-2. Swing and a ground ball hit weakly to second. Campbell flips over to short. Story back to first. Double play.
There it is.
4-6-3. The Red Sox turn it. And there are 2 down.
And that's the chance you take. Obviously not sack bunting there with Alejandro Kirk, one of the slower guys in all of baseball. But I was going to say, before that pitch was thrown, you can't act like you're just going to try to make contact and hit that ball into the infield, because that's what's going to happen. You can't. It's just difficult with a guy like that up who doesn't really have much speed to expect him or ask him not to hit into a double play, because it's really easy for him to hit into a double play, and that's the risk you take right there.
Pitching change now for the Red Sox, brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Justin Wilson about to come in. Let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's do a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll start in baseball. As we often get on Wednesdays, a ton of games already in the books across Major League Baseball, so let's check in on some of those finals. A pair of finals in the AL East first. The Yankees getting back in the win column. They beat the Tigers 4-3 to avoid the sweep. Max Fried throwing 7 scoreless innings to outduel his high school teammate, Jack Flaherty. Ben Rice hitting a 2-run home run in the 7th inning, and Aaron Judge driving in 2 more to help the Yankees hold off the Tigers. Over in the desert, the Diamondbacks blanking the Orioles 9-0. Brandon Pfaadt throwing 6 scoreless. He gave up 4 hits and 2 walks. He struck out 3. On offense, Corbin Carroll homering for this 2nd straight game. Mississauga native Josh Naylor also went yard in this game, his first of the season, and of course first as a Diamondback. Dean Kramer giving up 6 runs and a walk on 8 hits over 4 2/3 in the loss. Elsewhere in baseball, we had the Rangers thump the Cubs 6-2. Corey Seager going yard twice in this one. A solo shot to left center to open the scoring, and then another solo bomb to right in the 7th. Tyler Mahle hurled 7 innings of 1-run ball. He allowed just 2 hits and 1 walk. He struck out 4. The outing lowered his ERA on the season to 1.32, which is just crazy. In Queens, the Mets got blanked by the Marlins 5-0. Max Meyer flirting with a no-hitter. He carried it into the 6th inning. And in San Fran, Oracle Park getting a waterlogged ending. Mike Yastrzemski blasting a 2-run shot into McCovey Cove. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get back to the action. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Justin Wilson, the veteran left-hander, into the game to match up with Alan Roden, a left-handed hitter. Go-ahead run for the Blue Jays on third. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Wilson kicks and deals. First pitch hit on the ground to second base. Right in front of it, picked up by Hamilton, and he'll throw to first to end the inning. So the Blue Jays get a hit and a walk to start the inning, but 2 ground balls, one for a double play and the other one just for a regular ground out, ends the inning with the runners stranded on third base. At the 7th inning stretch, 1-1. Blue Jays and Red Sox. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Let's see some talent. Tuesdays on City TV. The stage is set for incredible performances.
I think you're friggin' amazing.
The judges are looking for the next $1 million act.
You devastated the stage.
That will leave you speechless.
You make me laugh. You leave me in awe. That was amazing.
All new Canada's Got Talent. Tuesdays 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Green kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. They defeat the Mariners
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman next to Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 7th, 1-1 game, and Kevin Gausman gets a foul tip, strike one to start the frame against Tristan Casas. Just threw his 83rd pitch of the game did Kevin Gausman, working in his 7th inning. Since the first, the only times he's been hurt are both of the Devers at-bats in the middle and later stages of this game. Devers has doubled twice. No one else has reached since Duran singled to start the Boston offensive day. 0-1 splitter down low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kevin Gausman threw 87 pitches in his last start and 97 in his first start against Baltimore. So I'd imagine he has 16 more pitches to go.
His 85th of the day is hit in the air to left field. Santander right under it, makes a one-handed catch. 1 out.
He's still looking good. That four-seam fastball, well located, just 91 miles an hour, but when you locate that thing, it's pretty hard to hit.
Middle innings, all of a sudden, he was ripping that fastball. 94, 95, 96. It's calmed down a little bit, but the location's been just as sharp.
I bet he gets up to 95 this inning, maybe even 96. We've seen him do that quite often, where his hardest pitches will be his last 10 pitches or so.
His pitch to Trevor Story. Fastball hit in the air to right. Alan Roden angling toward the foul line, still running, makes the catch. 2 outs.
Not looking like he's going to do that, though. That last fastball is 91.
Well, he's getting out so quickly now, he might not have time. He's saving his hardest fastballs for the strikeouts, but early contact here from the Red Sox, who have struck out 10 times in the game. Wilyer Abreu up. 2 outs, space is empty. Bottom 7, the pitch. Popped up. Foul territory, third base side. Clement just over the line. Now angles back fair and makes the catch to end the inning. 5-pitch, 1-2-3 frame for Kevin Gausman. We go to the 8th. Blue Jays 1, Red Sox 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Battle the start-finish line. Alexander Rossi goes to P1.
Hear every thrilling moment of the 2025 IndyCar season, including the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500.
The green flag flies. They reach the yard of bricks.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 4:30 Eastern with the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218 and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on Sirius XM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, Sirius XM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on Sirius XM 158 and on the Sirius XM app.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Top of the 8th, and another pitching change for the Red Sox in this 1-1 game. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. The flame-throwing right-hander Justin Slayton into the game. 9 ERA in 5 games so far. Tough start to the year for a breakout reliever last season. His pitch to Ernie Clement is hit sharply on the ground is short. On a bounce picked up by Story. Throw on to first. 1 out.
Yeah, Justin Slayton had a pretty good year last year. 6-2 with a 2.93 ERA, 44 ball games, 55 and a third innings pitched. I mean, you said it. He's just a flamethrower. He came out of nowhere.
He was on the fringes of the closer competition for the Red Sox coming into camp. Aroldis Chapman won it. Liam Hendricks injured to start the year. He was in the mix. But Slayton saved 2 games last year. His pitch to Nathan Lucas, 97 at the knees, 0-1. Third rounder by the Rangers in 2019 out of New Mexico. Rule 5 pickup by the Mets in December 23, who they traded to the Red Sox for a minor leaguer. Now a swing and a miss at that over-the-top curveball. 0-2.
A lot like Jordan Romano, I feel like the Texas Rangers are probably thinking, why did we let him get to the Rule 5 draft?
Had a couple guys. 0-2. Swing and a looping liner. Left field, charging in Durant. Sliding catch. Caught it at his chest while he was scooching across the ground. 2 down.
And those line drives that are tailing off the bat of left-handed hitters are so hard to catch for left fielders. Really nice job there from Jarren Duran.
On the Rule 5 subject, I don't know if this is better or worse. The Rangers Rule 5 Romano from the Blue Jays rather than having him first and then let him go again.
Yeah.
In Slayton, they didn't know what they had and let him be exposed to the Rule 5, and Boston capitalized as Slayton delivers down and away to Bichette with 2 outs and nobody aboard. It's 1-0.
Well, for the Major League, I mean, you know this, but for the Major League team to be able to keep you, you have to be on the 25-man roster for the whole season when you get picked up in the Rule 5 draft.
1-0 is cut on and missed, 1-1. Yes, and for the original club to stop you from even getting to that draft, you got to be on the 40-man roster.
So it is hard as the team that's picking you up off of the in the Rule 5 draft, to actually keep you.
1-1 hit foul, 1-2.
Especially if you're a team that's wanting to contend.
I'm trying to think of the last Rule 5 guy the Blue Jays had for a full season. It's not coming to my mind right now.
I know a lot of guys that have been put on the Phantom.
Right. 1-2. Swing and a liner caught at short by Story to end the inning. 1-2-3 from Slayton. And we go to the middle of the 8th, still 1-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter night mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind. When you always feel like part of the show. On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Kevin Gausman back on the hill for an 8th inning of work. Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays 1, Red Sox 1. Bottom of the 8th inning. Sweet Caroline wrapping up. Fans back in their seats, and the pitch to Christian Campbell. Hit on the ground up the middle, a base hit into left center field. Santander picks it up, and Campbell's got a leadoff single. First hit for a Red Sox not named Rafael Devers since the first inning.
Well, in 2024, Christian Campbell had 24 stolen bases in the minor leagues, so you have to keep an eye on him out there. I'm sure the Red Sox will try to get him to second base.
David Hamilton, potentially a bunt candidate as well. First pitch to Hamilton is hit high to left field. Santander racing into foul territory, slides, and that ball is down, foul. You got, 2 feet, maybe 3 feet of foul territory in between the line and the wall, and Santander had a tricky play sliding into the fence while trying to make the catch.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous over there, especially when you're sprinting towards that wall. I mean, obviously, sliding feet first is the best thing to do, but that ball hit him right in the forearm.
He overslid it a little bit. He's checking out, left wrist, left forearm. Doesn't have a glove on his hand right now. Looks like they're going to give him a sec. Action starting in the Toronto pen, by the way, with Kevin Gausman giving up the leadoff single. Nick Sandlin is up. Gausman's 90th pitch of the day. Never mind, a turn and throw to first. Froze like he was going to go to the plate and then checked on Campbell.
Well, Ernie Clement is expecting a bunt. Probably he's way in at third base. Now he's kind of even, but if I'm the Red Sox, I'm just sending Christian Campbell. I'm not trying to bunt here.
0-1. Hit high, right field, not very deep. Rodin coming in, Campbell halfway. Rodin makes the catch, and Campbell retreats to first. 1 out. The Boston Red Sox are a great base-stealing team, which is not something people have said throughout much of their recent history. With Jarren Duran's stolen base today, Boston is 16 for 16 to start the year. They are the only team remaining in Major League Baseball who hasn't had someone thrown out yet. Carlos Narvaez up now, the 9-hitter and catcher. Runner on first. The pitch. Hit foul to the right.
Kevin Gausman doing a good job there with the slide step. Almost caught Narvaez off guard there in the batter's box, but doing a good job holding Christian Campbell at first base. I'm surprised he hasn't taken off yet, to be honest.
New baseball for Gausman. He's thrown over once. Like you mentioned, he's varied up his speed and his timing. It's been a big point of emphasis for Blue Jays pitchers over the last couple seasons, trying to help out their catchers a little bit more and holding guys on, throwing guys out. Turn and throw over to first. Campbell dives back safe. That's the first disengagement of this plate appearance. The other look was during the David Hamilton plate appearance.
Yeah, if you look at Christian Campbell when Kevin Gausman comes set, you could tell he's really thinking about trying to get a good read on him.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Now a strikeout here is big. Best case scenario, obviously, is a ground ball double play, but a strikeout is almost as good.
1-1 game. Runner on first, 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. And the 0-2. Swing and a ground ball to second. Picked up Jimenez. Flips to Bichette for 1. Over to first. Double play. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play, and Kevin Gausman has pitched 8 innings of 1-run ball. We go to the 9th. Blue Jays 1, Red Sox 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Feel the bass. Ride the rhythm. And move to the dance hits and remixes that defined a generation. In Utopia. A channel pulsing with 90s rave classics and iconic 2000s club anthems. Utopia. Channel 341 or at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go Hey Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 1-1 ball game after 8 innings. Both teams scored in the first. Neither has scored since. Kevin Gausman, a huge part of that, getting high fives in the dugout. Looks like his day is done after 8 innings, and it's a new pitcher for the Red Sox. Pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. You might have heard of him, Aroldis Chapman on the mound for the Red Sox. First year with Boston, a longtime Red and Yankee. Chapman deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr., and the first pitch is high at 97, ball one.
I mean, he's not throwing 104 like he used to, but 97 from the left side is still very effective.
And every once in a while, he dials it back, and he hits 102. Left-handed reliever, the closer for the Red Sox this year, is 1-0. Swing and a line drive, base hit in left field. Off the end of the bat, it had just enough on it to get over Story, and you could tell that stung Guerrero, waving his right hand in the air, but he's got a third hit tonight.
Yeah, pretty good pitch from Chapman, down and away at 95 miles an hour. But like I said, if that ball's 99, 100 miles an hour, he's probably not making contact with that baseball. But because it's a little bit less velocity, 95 miles an hour, Vlad is able to get the barrel to it.
Now Chapman against Anthony Santander. Switch hitter turns around to bat right, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Strike one. Santander 3 for 8 against Chapman in his career with 2 home runs and 3 walks. Guerrero, the go-ahead run on first. The 0-1. Low at 99. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's in there. And again, 99 from the left side is an elite fastball.
The owner of the hardest pitch in Major League history back in 2010 with the Reds, over 105 miles an hour. 1-1. Ball strike, gets a break on a pitch that was definitely upstairs. It's 1-2 rather than 2-1.
Well, Santander didn't like that call. He immediately looked back at Corey Blazer and had a quick question for him. Might have just been a comment. Where's that pitch?
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Flipped in the cutter and got him out in front. 1 down. Let's take a look quickly at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Before we get there, Andres Jimenez to hit for the Blue Jays. Guerrero on first, 1 out, 1-1 game. The pitch. Called strike. After the Yankees win today, they're tied atop the AL East with the Toronto Blue Jays at 7-5. Boston 1 game back, 6-6. The Rays are 4-6 in 4th, and the Orioles 5-8 in 5th. Left on left, the 0-1 to Jimenez. Inside, 101 with some sink. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is a tough matchup for any left-handed hitter. Although Andres Jimenez has seen the ball well tonight, 2 for 2 in the ball game.
He's seen Chapman 3 times as Jimenez, walked once and struck out twice. 1-1 is foul tipped into the glove, 1-2.
Just ties him up with 99 up and in. A little bit of tail at the end of that thing. Aroldis Chapman, 37 years old. He's still doing it.
A 7-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. Once with the Rangers and once with the Cubs. 337 career saves for Chapman. The lefty's 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 102 miles an hour on the outer third. 2 down.
Well, you said it earlier. He can still dial it up. 102. Here it is. Good luck with it. That's what he just said to Andres Jimenez.
A couple of years ago, it looked like Chapman's closing days might be done. He really struggled with the Yankees in 2022 and split 2023 with the Royals in Texas, more in a setup role, although he had 6 saves total that year. But he won the Pirates closing job mid-year last year with some struggles with David Bednar. He ended up with 14 saves, and then he went into camp competing with another very good closer a couple of years ago in Liam Hendricks. And Chapman had the better results in spring, even before Hendricks picked up the injury. Pinch hitter for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game. 2 outs and a runner on first. Here's George Springer. Chapman's pitch. High, ball 1.
I actually like this matchup right now. George Springer seeing the ball well, and at some point during this at-bat, Aroldis Chapman will throw him a good 4-seam fastball, and George Springer will guess right.
Springer into the spot of Will Wagner. 1-0. Down and in. Springer dances out of the way of 101 near his ankles. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
You think he has the green light?
Oh, yeah. Right side of the infield open. 2-0. Fouled right back. 99, top of the zone. 2-1. Springer 1 for 4 in his career off Chapman with an RBI single. No safe situation coming up in this game for the Red Sox. So they use Chapman in the top of the 9th in a tie game. Lefties 2-1. Swing and a fly ball, center field, medium depth. Twisting and turning, it's caught by Campbell in straightaway center to end the inning. Leadoff single for Vlad, but 3 quick outs after that for Aroldis Chapman. And now the Red Sox look to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. Blue Jays are striving for extras. It'll be Duran, Devers, Bregman up for Boston when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. Jays and Red Sox tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at Fenway Park. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. They will take your calls and your texts this evening. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays and Sox tied at 1, bottom 9. Jeff Hoffman on for the bottom of the 9th at Fenway. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, show. The pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. Not a safe situation. John Schneider decides to go to Jeff Hoffman to try to get to extras rather than hold on to him in case a save comes up. And possibly, Chris, that has to do with the top of the order being up for Boston. Jaron Duran will lead it off.
Yeah, this is the highest leverage part of this ball game, at least so far.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first base, by the way, for the Blue Jays. He was the starting DH today, but they lifted Wagner for a pinch hitter, so now they lose the DH. First pitch to Duran, hit on the ground to second. Jimenez on it, and the throw over to Guerrero, 1 out.
That's a big out. Jaron Duran, one of the most dangerous hitters in this lineup. Now you have to deal with Rafael Devers.
For those wondering about the mechanisms of losing the DH, if you look at that number 5 spot in the lineup where Wagner was and then Springer was, put Jeff Hoffman's name in that spot right now. Technically, like National League Baseball just a couple of years ago, it's the pitcher hitting 5th right now for the Blue Jays. Only matters, though, if we get to extras. 1-1 game, 1 out, bottom 9, and Devers swings and pops up the first pitch. Left side of the infield. Clement waving his arms in the air, makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, just like you draw it up, right? 2 pitches, 2 outs for Jeff Hoffman. Nice and tidy.
Good fastball in on the hands of Devers. Kept it up enough rather than getting it down and in that Devers couldn't get a good swing on that ball.
Yeah, that fastball kind of just tied him up. It was a good miss, actually. Alejandro Kirk was set up on the outside part of the plate, and that fastball ran in on the hands of Rafael Devers.
2 outs, bottom 9 in the pitch. Called strike, 0-1. Alex Bregman 0 for 2 today with a sac fly, a strikeout, and a ground out. 1-1 game. The 0-1. Slider outside. Hoffman in the ninth. Blue Jays got 8 innings from Kevin Gausman. 4 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. No walks, 10 strikeouts. 1-1. Check swing. Peel down to third on the slider. And it's called a swing. It's 1-2.
That's a good pitch. A slider down and away. Thought that pitch was going to be called a strike, but it was called on the swing.
1 strike away from extra innings. Hoffman with a breath. Rocks, releases. Check swing again, but this time Bregman held up on the down and away slider. 2-2.
And you could tell that Hoffman is shying away from the elevated fastball. Alex Bregman is so good at hitting that fastball at the top of the strike zone. Hit a ton of homers in Houston on that pitch.
2-2. Called strike 3. Plants the slider on the outside corner. A shrug of the shoulders and scream from Hoffman, who takes us to free baseball for the first time this year for the Blue Jays. We go to the 10th, 1-1 game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Hola, soy Andrés Jiménez y estás escuchando el béisbol de los Toronto Blue Jays en la cadena de Radio Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays and Red Sox tied at 1 as we head to the top of the 10th inning at Fenway Extras. In Beantown, a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard in the AL East. The Yankees beat the Tigers 4-3 to avoid the sweep. The O's got blanked by the Diamondbacks 9-0. And right now, bottom of the 6th inning, the Rays leading the Angels 4-3. Yusei Kikuchi giving up a grand slam to Jose Caballero. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Blue Jays and Red Sox tied at 1, top of the 10th inning, automatic runner time in Boston. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Andres Jimenez will be the automatic runner. The last spot up is technically the one that Jeff Hoffman owns after the Blue Jays lost the DH, but it reverts to the spot before the pitcher. So it'll be Jimenez on second representing the go-ahead run, and Greg Weissert into the game, the bearded right-hander. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Alejandro Kirk leading off the inning. Weissert looks at second, deals home, and the pitch is popped up, foul, third base side, into the seats, 0-1. Kirk at least trying to advance Jimenez to third. The 0-1. Swing and a foul back, 0-2. The rule that reverts it back to the runner before a pitcher really helps out the Blue Jays right now because Jeff Hoffman was so efficient last inning. Only threw 7 pitches, so now Toronto can use him in a second inning of work. The 0-2. Swing and a pop-up. Right to first base in foul territory. Casas makes the catch. 1 out. Jimenez holds at second. Second time in the series that the Blue Jays see Greg Weissert hit 4 hits and 2 earned runs off of Weissert in 1 inning in the series opener. Allen Roden to the plate. The right on left pitch. Down and in, ball 1.
Good take from Roden. A lot of times in these situations, a young player, his first real big extra inning at bat, he'll get antsy and he'll start swinging at bad pitches. A good take from Allen Roden there.
Now the 0-1. Outside. For Weissert, the mix is sinker, four-seamer, slider, sweeper, and change. Just saw the changeup, which is his least used pitch. A New York guy, Greg Weissert, grew up in Bayshore, New York. That's on Long Island. Went to Fordham in the Bronx, drafted by the Yankees, but traded after his first major league year over to the rival Red Sox. He's going to step off the mound.
I'm sure his friends weren't overly thrilled about that.
I can't tell you for sure if he was a Yankees or Mets fan, though, growing up.
That's
so maybe
true,
it was big for him.
That's true.
There are a lot of Mets fans on the island. The 2-0. Hit foul, 2-1.
Good swing from Allen Roden. A good slider there from Weissert. Allen Roden just missed it. He was right on that pitch.
Weissert with a 3.18 ERA this year. 2 earned runs coming against the Blue Jays. 5 2/3 innings total this season. His 2-1. Swing and a chopper right side. Picked up on 2 hops by Hamilton. He'll throw over to first. Jimenez advances to third, but now there are 2 outs.
Yeah, as the first hitter in the inning, Alejandro Kirk's job is to move that runner over to third base. Obviously, getting a base hit in that situation is a better result. But if you're not going to get a base hit, just move that runner over to third base so he could score on a play like that.
Now the Blue Jays need a base hitter. They need Clement to reach somehow. First pitch to Ernie Clement is low, ball 1. The spot you really don't want to be in extra innings is still a tie game going to the bottom half. Then they just have to get someone in from second to win it. The 1-0. Low again, 2-0. Blue Jays have Davis Schneider, Miles Straw, and Tyler Heineman on their bench after using Springer as a pinch hitter in the 9th. 2-0 to Clement. Swing and a bouncer, foul, 2-1. Bearded right-hander Weissert comes set. And it's 2-1. Low ball 3.
Good take from Ernie Clement. That was a tough sweeper down just below that strike zone. He was able to hold that bat back.
Hitters count for the righty swinger. Grew up a Yankee fan. I imagine big hits at Fenway Park were in his daydreams a lot of the time as a kid. Punched over stance for Clement, looking at Weissert. The 3-1. Swing and a high drive, left field. Duran on the warning track makes the catch and ends the inning. Greg Weissert keeps the Blue Jays off the board in the top of the 10th. And Toronto will take a tie game to the bottom half. 1-1 is the score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays and Red Sox still tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning at Fenway. Extras continuing in Boston. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. They will take your calls and your texts this evening. They will stand by as long as it takes for us to get this done. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Jays and Sox tied at 1, bottom 10. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you, Show. Another inning for Jeff Hoffman, and he has a difficult task right now. 1-1 game, bottom of the 10th, and Hoffman has to keep the automatic runner from scoring at second base to send us to the 11th. Pitch to Tristan Casas, swing and a miss, strike one. It's Alex Bregman starting on second.
Well, obviously the Red Sox have the advantage now because they know that all they need is just that one run. That's why scoring in that top half of extra inning is just so important. The Blue Jays weren't able to do that.
For better or worse, though, it's the middle of the Red Sox order, so you're more than likely not going to see a bunt. I think if it's the bottom third, they're dropping one down and moving the winning run to third, but not with Tristan Casas up, who almost never, if ever, bunts. 1 outside.
And like you said, a really tall task for Jeff Hoffman. And the most important thing is keeping that run at second base right now. Maybe a strikeout, a pop-up.
Righties 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to second. This will advance the runner. Jimenez throws over to first. Tristan Casas just did his job. Bregman up to third with 1 out.
And now the goal of Jeff Hoffman is just strike this guy out. Trevor Story coming to the plate right now, but that's why your closer has strikeout stuff, to be able to be in this situation and strike this big guy standing in this batter's box out.
Infield in, outfield moving in as well. A deep fly ball would score Bregman. The pitch. Swing and a grounder foul. 98 on the fastball. It's 0-1. You might be thinking, well, why don't you walk Trevor Story, set up a double play? But you got a hot left-handed hitter in Wilyer Abreu on deck. You probably don't want to give the Red Sox the platoon advantage. Fans on their feet at Fenway. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase the slider away. 0-2.
And now if you're Alejandro Kirk, you're really focusing on blocking that baseball. If you're going to throw another slider and it happens to be in the dirt, you have to be a wall back there. That's a big run standing out at third base.
Story asks for time. A deep breath from the right-handed hitter. He looks out at Jeff Hoffman. Hoffman gives a nod to Kirk and sets at the belt. Runner on third, 1 out. The 0-2. Swing and a fly ball left field line. Foul, out of play.
That's definitely not where you want that pitch. I can almost tell you that Jeff Hoffman is thinking that right now. Right down the middle, just a little spinner. Luckily, Trevor Story was way out in front of that pitch.
Second inning of work for Hoffman, who dispatched the top 3 in 7 pitches in the 9th. Another 0-2. Hit foul again. Down and in with the splitter, but Story beat it away.
I like that pitch right there, but it just has to be down just a little bit more. That one was in the strike zone. You're ahead in the count 0-2. Throw that thing below the strike zone.
Bregman on third, representing the winning run. No one has scored since the first inning of this game, and we're in the 10th. The 2-strike pitch. He got him. Struck him out on a slider. The infield backs up. There's 2 down.
And that's why it's so important that your relievers have strikeout stuff for big situations like this. What a pitch. Looked like a strike all the way and just took a quick left turn at the very end.
Wilyer Abreu about to come up, and the Blue Jays will intentionally walk Abreu. That runner doesn't matter at all. They want to get Hoffman another right-on-right matchup, so he'll face Christian Campbell, the rookie, instead.
Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. Obviously.
You have Abreu, a guy hitting around 400. Campbell's off to a hot start, but less of a track record, no platoon advantage. First and third, 2 down. Hoffman's pitch. In the dirt, ball 1.
And you also have the right-on-right now, so you can throw that slider, you can throw that fastball away. A lot of options when it's right-on-right.
Abreu stole second on the last pitch, so it's second and third now, the 1-0. Swing and a grounder, foul, wide of the third base bat. Again, Abreu doesn't matter at second base, but he just eliminates a force off the field by taking second. Blue Jays didn't want to risk anything, so they did not throw down. 2 outs, bottom of the 10th. Winning run on third. 1-1 to Campbell. Swing and a liner foul. He absolutely tagged that ball into the seats down the left field line, 1-2.
Somebody made a nice catch in the stands as well.
He's got a glove. I was going to say, you can't make that play barehanded. He hit that ball 109 miles an hour. Now the 1-2. Swing and a grounder, and it hit him while it was in the box. Campbell almost stepped out. If he had stepped out of the box and the ball had hit him, he would have been out, and we would have been in the 11th. But he was just still in the batter's box.
I like that pitch. A split finger that had a lot of downward action to it. Maybe throw an elevated heater here.
A base hit wins it for the Red Sox. Bregman on third, Abreu on second. 1-1, 2 outs, bottom 10. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Another screaming flex from Hoffman, who strands 2 runners and sends us to the 11th. 1-1 game. Why not more baseball at Fenway Park? You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Roddy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays and Red Sox still tied at 1 as we head to the top of the 11th inning at Fenway Park. Jeff Hoffman keeping extras going. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Raptors playing their final home game of the season tonight. Third last game overall. Second half underway at Scotiabank Arena. Actually about 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Wraps up 81-61 on the Charlotte Hornets at Scotiabank. You can listen to it on our flagship station, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, via the stream. Eric Smith and Paul Jones on the call. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays and Sox tied at 1, top 11. Here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. Another pitching change for the Red Sox, brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Former Blue Jay farmhand Josh Winkowski is into the ballgame. Murray Clement on second. 1-1 game. Nathan Lucas up. And the first pitch high and outside, ball 1. There's a chance you see a bunt from Lucas, although the philosophy in the top half is often to try to score 2 runs rather than 1. 1-0. Hit foul off of his back ankle by Lucas. He shakes out that left leg, 1-1.
There's also a huge hole on the left side of the infield. Trevor Story is almost behind second base, and Alex Bregman is covering that line.
See if Winkowski pitches him in. Winkowski thrown on back-to-back days. Righties 1-1. They go outside, and it's bounced over the mound, up the middle, fielded by Story. Clement takes off for third and gets there. Story throws to first for the out, and Lucas does the job, advancing the runner to third with one out.
He didn't get a base hit, but he did his job. You have to at least move that runner over to third base, and now a fly ball will score that guy from third base.
The Blue Jays have the right guys up. Top of the order now. Bo Bichette to the plate. The infield draws in. Bichette 0 for 4 today. Winkowski's pitch. Inside, ball 1. Righty kicks and offers. Bichette swings and drives the ball to right field. Headed toward Pesky's pull, and that ball is just foul. 1-1.
How foul was that? 10 feet. That was 10 feet foul. I think Bo Bichette thought it had a chance off the bat. Stood there and watched it.
Second near miss home run for Bichette in as many days, although the one yesterday even closer, hit about 95% of the way up the monster. 1-1. Outside by a lot. 2-1. Ernie Clement is the go-ahead run on third. There's one out. The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a looping line drive center field. Backing up, it's caught by Campbell. Clement's going to tag and advance to the plate. The throw is way offline, and the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead on the sac fly from Bo Bichette.
Nice job by Bo Bichette. The infield was drawn in, so obviously you don't want to hit something on the ground. You want to get some loft under that baseball and score that guy from third base, and Bo Bichette does it perfectly.
Because he hit it somewhere in between a liner and a fly ball, Campbell also couldn't really get behind that baseball. Perhaps that contributed to the throw being late and up the line. So Toronto with its first lead since the top of the first inning. Pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. is bounced to the left side of the infield. Picked up at third by Bregman. Throw to first, bounces, but gets there in time. Good dig by Casas. That'll end the inning. The Blue Jays take the lead on Bichette's sacrifice fly, and now they'll try and secure a victory. It's 1-0 Toronto, middle of the 11th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back once more to Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Show Ali with you. Blue Jays leading the Red Sox 2-1 now as we head to the bottom of the 11th at Fenway Park. Don't forget, we will still have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker with the post-game show. They will take your calls and your texts this evening. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call and text once this game is in the books. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Jays now ahead 2-1, bottom 11 at Fenway. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Pitching change for Toronto. Nick Sandlin into the ball game, looking for a save here. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. 20 pitches and 2 scoreless innings from Jeff Hoffman. He's in line for the win right now, but still a big task here for Nick Sandlin. Christian Campbell, speedy base runner on second base. Sandlin will have to prevent him from scoring to win it for Toronto. David Hamilton leads off, speedy left-handed hitter. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike one.
How about Toronto's pitching tonight? First Kevin Gausman, then Jeff Hoffman. Two incredible performances, 13 strikeouts by those two guys.
And no earned runs. The one Red Sox run today scored in part due to an error. 0-1. Sidearmed in there, strike two.
And no walks, too. Just that intentional walk to Wilyer Abreu by Jeff Hoffman. I don't count that.
I don't either. No balls and two strikes. A strikeout would be the perfect way to start the inning. A look at second. Sandlin's pitch. No, he's going to twist around as he got into the motion and look at second base.
And, of course, a chorus of boos. Nobody likes the inside move.
I don't know if it's that specific, but it's maybe a bit overpowered, the inside move. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Splitter outside, got him to wave at it. A massively important first out.
Yeah, that thing was gross. Looked like a fastball all the way, and then just hit the brakes. What a pitch from Sandlin.
Red Sox need to score the run. They're going to start emptying their bench. Rob Refsnyder into pinch hit for catcher Carlos Narvaez. Former Blue Jay in the righty batter's box. Sandlin looks back, deals home. Swing and a miss, strike one. Refsnyder in for Carlos Narvaez. He's more of a platoon player for left-handed pitchers. They use him here against Sandlin. The 0-1. Way outside. Good stop by Kirk, diving to his right to keep it in front of him. 1-1.
Well, you can tell what Nick Sandlin is thinking. He's trying to strike out Refsnyder in this situation. Obviously, the tying run is standing at second base. A strikeout here is the most important thing if you're Nick Sandlin.
Two-1 Blue Jays, bottom 11. The 1-1. Swing and a lazy fly ball down the left field line. Long run Santander, and it's just going to get out of play. Santander was not positioned close to the line, so Bo Bichette sprinted out into fairly deep left field just to cover for him, but it ended up going into the seats.
It was actually a safer play for Bo Bichette because Bo was running almost alongside that foul wall there in left field, and Santander was sprinting towards it.
An unstoppable force coming up with an immovable object. Good news for Santander. He didn't have to slam into the wall. And now the 1-2 to Rob Refsnyder. Slider popped up, back of the plate. Kirk ditches the mask, headed toward the warning track, makes the catch. And there are two down. Well played by Alejandro Kirk, who slammed his mask in between his legs and immediately beelined behind the plate to make the play.
Now you have Jarren Duran coming to the plate, a really tough out for Nick Sandlin. You have to be extremely careful with him.
One out away from the save. It would be the second career for Sandlin. He's going to step off and quiet down the crowd before we get started.
And keep in mind, you do have that open base at first base, so you don't have to be perfect, although Rafael Devers is standing in that on-deck circle.
Duran representing the winning run at the plate. Sandlin's pitch. Slider misses down and away, ball one.
You don't have to throw him something down the middle here.
Duran, a left-handed hitter, stands decently far off the plate, straight up in his batting stance. 1-0. Swing and a ground ball to second. Jimenez has it, throws on to first, and the Blue Jays outlast the Red Sox and outpitch them just slightly to beat Boston 2-1.
What a game. Kevin Gausman and Jeff Hoffman, actually Nick Sandlin as well. All three of those guys. What an incredible game from Kevin Gausman. 10 strikeouts, no walks. He was on fire during the middle portions of that game. That fastball command, the split finger. his best ball game of the season.
Blue Jays have won their third in a row, and they take the series from the Red Sox. 2-1 in 11 innings, the final score. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Hey, this is Kevin Gausman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball after a 2-1 win for Toronto in 11 innings. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and when you hear that score 2-1, you got to think about the pitching. Kevin Gausman was up and down in his first two starts. He had been good, but not great. Chris, today, he was great.
Well, we talked about the lack of strikeouts in his last start against the New York Mets. Today, he really improved that. 10 strikeouts to no walks. And I think the most impressive thing about his outing tonight was the command of that fastball. I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, before the broadcast, that for him to really get those strikeout numbers up, which are very important for Kevin Gausman, he has to stay on top of that split finger. He got a lot of strikeouts today on fastballs. That fastball was just full of life through the strike zone, 94, 95 miles an hour, and he was locating it exactly where he wanted to. He was an absolute beast tonight.
And that's why he, and really all the pitchers today, are today's players of the game. 2-2 pitch, called, strike three. Second K so far for Gausman. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, strike three. Another heater, and he got him. 3 strikeouts in a row for Gausman to end a scoreless inning. The 2-strike pitch. High fastball, swing and a miss, strike three. 10 punch-outs for Gausman. Kevin Gausman was great, Chris. So was Jeff Hoffman. The Blue Jays score a run in the first and then don't score again until the 11th on the sac fly by Bo Bichette, but they wouldn't have even been in the 11th inning if not for Hoffman setting down the top 3 in the order in the 9th and just managing to strand the automatic runner in the 10th to get us to inning 11.
Well, Ben, he threw 20 pitches in his 2 innings, 16 strikes. He threw 7 pitches in that first inning in the 9th inning, and I mean, we talked about how good Kevin Gausman was with Jeff Hoffman in his 2 innings, those high leverage innings. He was almost as good, and you have to give credit to those guys. Coming into the ball game with the run standing at second base is almost an impossible task, but Nick Sandlin did it, and Jeff Hoffman did it. A great outing by all 3 guys.
Yeah, credit to Nick Sandlin as well, who pitched for the Blue Jays to secure the win in the 11th. Toronto scores 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 error. They leave 5 on. The Red Sox 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. They leave 5 on. This really tough Boston offense, 4 total runs so far in the series. The win goes to Jeff Hoffman in relief. The loss to the former Blue Jay farmhand Josh Winkowski. And the first save of the year for Nick Sandlin, second of his major league career. Despite 11 innings, this one took 2 hours and 31 minutes, nearly 30,000 at Fenway Park. Third straight win for Toronto. They're 8-5. The Red Sox dropped below 500 at 6-7. The Blue Jays have an opportunity at a 4-game sweep at Fenway. That'll come tomorrow when Chris Bassett takes on Walker Buehler. First pitch at 4:10 Eastern. We'll have game coverage starting at 4 o'clock. For Tom Young, our technical director, Show Ali, our host and producer, and Chris Young, my partner, I'm Ben Schulman. Really appreciate you tuning in tonight. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 4 Eastern. And stay with us. It's another winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Parker. It starts.
Some folks thought might run away with the AL East. Now it's still early, of course. But the Jays are 8-5. Kevin, lots of good pitching tonight. Bo Bichette with the sacrifice fly in the 11th inning to deliver the win. We've got to start talking about, we got to start with Kevin Gausman. 8 efficient innings, 4 hits, 10 strikeouts. That is his 26th game of 10 strikeouts or more.
Wow.
And Kevin, it happened after a start in which he had no strikeouts. It happened in a game in which his velocity was down 2 miles an hour. And it happened in a game in which the splitter, he threw 31 splitters, got 4 whiffs. He's basically a one-pitch pitcher tonight.
Yeah.
Explain this.
I think that's the $1 million question. Look, I think when you're locating it, you've actually put the split finger because it's carrying the zone. The split finger now, all of a sudden, I think because he's changed his grip, and Buck was talking about that on the telecast, that it looked like he'd been talking to Petey about how they've loosened up his grip. I guess that's allowing that pitch to carry the zone a little bit more, which he can get more called strikes with it, keep it in the zone a little bit longer. I think they know he ain't getting swing and miss with it. So how do you adjust that? You sort of make it look like his fastball, but it's slower. And I think that's the adjustment. You said the 10 strikeouts all on fastballs, but they were fastballs down. They were fastballs down the middle. They were fastballs in. They were fastballs up. They were fastballs up and away. They were fastballs basically everywhere. And I think that's sort of what he got the Red Sox doing, was in swing mode, and the change of speed between the carrying of the zone of the split finger because of the change in the grip and the velocity a little bit and the location of the fastball. I think all that combined together with a very aggressive Red Sox lineup, I think this is exactly what happened. So, yeah, the pace was real good. You could tell he wasn't overthinking it. You could tell just sort of when the ball was released, he knew exactly where it was going to end up, and it was on to the next pitch. And, when you're sort of that locked in, I think it can sort of turn out because you're a veteran guy. You've been there and done it before. This is nice. I just don't know how long this can last. That's the only thing I worry about it. Everybody loves rooting for Kevin because he's a great dude and he's fun to watch. But how long can he do this with like you mentioned, being a one-pitch guy and not having swing and miss on the split finger? I don't know. The jury's still out on that.
Do you think when the weather warms up, it might make a difference?
I think the same thing was happening in spring training was throwing. When I was talking to Pete Walker, the pitching coach, that was the topic of conversation around Kevin was, how do you get more swing and miss? We had a conversation with him when he was on our show, asking him about, just how, right, the thumb sort of driving that split finger where he wants it to end up. And for whatever reason, it's just not carrying, I think, and spinning and breaking 12-6 like he wants it to. And for whatever reason, the adjustment just hadn't been made when it comes to the break. I think the adjustment with changing how much pressure he puts on the baseball, that's the change, which allows it to look and stay more in the zone, looking a little bit more like the fastball, which he's trying to take the sting out of the bat. That's what he's trying to do so he can get himself deeper in the game. But just so happened tonight, the location on the fastball is on point. When it's on point, you get punch-outs like he did there.
416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. You can reach us via text. 590 is the text line. It is Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. Your chance to break down, discuss, question the Jays' 2-1 win over the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. The team scored in the first inning. Not much happened after that until the 11th inning. The Jays really, we got to talk about this. I want to be Captain Negative here, but Kevin, we got to talk about Alejandro Kirk, and we got to talk about that first inning. Alejandro Kirk, first pitch, fly ball. The run in, two runners in scoring position. Alejandro Kirk's error also contributing to the only run of the game for the Red Sox. It was an unearned run. And, a predictable double play from Alejandro Kirk. Yeah. Comes up in the 10th inning. All he's got to do is advance the base runner. He pops up to the first baseman. In addition to the top three scuffling, although today Vladdy did get 3 hits and Bo got the sacrifice fly. On a night where George Springer and that 450 average was given the night off, man, I look at my score sheet and I really wonder how they won this game. Yeah. I mean, other than obviously the pitching was great, but offensively, I wonder how they won this game. 2 double plays. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be that guy, but reality is when you drop 60 large on a catcher, you start talking about trying to be elite on both sides of the ball, not only tricking the guy that's standing behind the catcher, but, actually offensively doing some things. And the old saying is you can't hit what you can't see. And whenever he's got a head fly and he is starting his swing with his eyes, basically looking at the left fielder, where's your barrel at? It's playing catch up. Why do you think, when Dan comes on and he says, do that Kirk thing, which is hit that 17 hopper to right field or that line drive to right field? Because basically when the eyes are looking at the left fielder, the only place he can make contact is sort of, behind his body. Where's the ball going to end up? It's going to end up to the right side of second base. So I just think until he's a little bit more on time, he's thinking about changing where his plate's at, trying to make contact a little bit further out in front of the plate. That will allow him to slug a little bit more to the big part of the field. I think you'll actually be able to talk about him like everybody wants to talk about him. But I'm with you, right? The at-bats need to get better. This is the only thing I'm saying. John's already moved him down in their 12 or 13 games into the season. I mean, I know it's a lot to do with Springer, but to start the season, he was hitting in front of Springer. He's not anymore. There's a reason for that. So I just think, again, you got to, if you're him, you got to make adjustments. They need him to get big-time hits. It ain't how many he's getting, it's when he's getting them. And you mentioned it. It's the innings where it's the obvious thing, right? A couple of dudes on base, it's predictable. You could see it coming, right? The ground ball, anything on the ground. If there's a runner on base, it's normally a double play, right? That's what I said. I think, just for me anyway, until he changes his eye and thinks out in front of the plate, let's make contact there. I just don't know consistently how you're going to get the Kirk that everybody wants to see. So, yeah, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully he shows up tomorrow, gets 9 hits and drives in 17 runs. But yeah, I think the pitching basically all year with George Springer has carried this team. That's exactly that's the best Jeff Hoffman we've seen as a Blue Jay. That was devastating. I mean, that was really legit stuff, right? The hard split finger, the slider, getting punch outs when he needed them, runner on third base, lefty up, you get a punch out. It's like he's tinkering around with how much it's moving all over the place, right? Bryce Harper said it. This dude is filthy. And that's the best we've seen him look tonight, and hopefully he carries that over, because if that's the case, you get him and Sandlin and Jimmy Garcia. I mean, that's pretty 3 lethal guys you can bring in at any time against any hitter.
Eric in Halifax, you're on Blue Jays Talk. Hey, Eric.
Hey, how you doing, Kevin and Mr. Barker? Best pitching I've seen in a long time from Kevin Gausman. And I said it at the start when I first called you guys. If their pitching holds up, they can make a little bit of noise. And Kevin, you know that you said that he's going to falter. Yeah, he's going to have his bad times, but when he starts doing that, look back at this game and what he done. He was like a goaltender. He was the guy that saved that game for the Blue Jays, and he deserves all the credit in the world. Doesn't matter what he does down the road. Look back at this game and cherish it, because it was a gem of a pitching match.
Eric, thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Kevin Gausman and obviously how important he is to this rotation, and in turn, how important this rotation is to the Blue Jays. This is the thing I keep getting back to. Like, I believe that Vladdy and Anthony Santander are going to get it going. but I need the pitching to hold them in until that happens. And so far we've seen that. And we've seen it from the relievers and for the most part from the bullpen. I mean, I got to tell you, when they made the deal with the Guardians, you know, and I started looking at Nick Sandlin's numbers. I think I said to you, Kevin, you know what? Nick Sandlin's going to finish this year with more appearances than any other, and maybe more innings than anybody else out of that bullpen. I think he's been really important right now, but I think he's going to be even more important. And when they get Eric Swanson back, if Eric Swanson is the way he was last year, and Nick's, I mean, they've got a plethora of options. They got 5 legit options in that bullpen.
Yeah,
leaving aside Brendan Little. They got 5 guys that if you absolutely had to, you would put in leverage.
Yeah, I think, you know, John's going to sleep well knowing that he can go to any of those guys in key spots. If you're, you know, putting them in, a couple of guys there need to be in the right pocket, right? You don't want to throw Little against a bunch of righties, right? You know, you'd rather sort of put Green against a couple of righties and a lefty, not 3 lefties, right? You know, there is some work there for John and Petey to make sure they're putting those guys in the right pocket. But I'm with you. Like, you can get swing and miss. You know, there's some righties down there that it doesn't matter if there's a lefty standing up there. They got good enough stuff, and they got some trickery like Sandlin does with that sidearm thing and having a tough time telling the difference between a couple of his pitches. I just want to be, you know, sure that I'm telling everybody. I don't think Kevin's going to falter. I'm just wondering how Kevin can maintain this, not getting swing and miss on the split with the split finger. If you're a one pitch guy, how do you continue to do this? That for me will be the intriguing thing. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just wondering how he will do it. It's a big difference.
Well, if he's only throwing one pitch, it'll cure the pitch tipping.
Boom. Nailed that.
416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590. The Blue Jays beating the Boston Red Sox in 11 innings. Owen and Whitby, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
How am I so far down the list?
Hello, Owen. Go ahead.
Look at the people they put on here ahead of me.
Owen. Oh, John and Kitchener. Okay. Why am I looking at... okay. John and Kitchener. Sorry. I was looking at Owen. Go ahead, John.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, okay, awesome. It's funny. I've been a Jays fan since like 97, and the problem the Jays used to have is we had too much hitting and no pitching. And here we are. Things have pretty much reversed. That was one of the worst hitting performances I've ever seen, but probably the best pitching performance ever. So what a whirlwind of emotions. But it's the hitting that I want to ask you guys about. First for Bark. Just wondering what you're seeing with Santander right now. He just kind of looks overmatched. We're not seeing really any pop from him at all, and that's really what we brought him on the team for. So wondering if you're seeing anything there. And then I was hoping you guys could explain to me the love affair this organization has with Alejandro Kirk. Not to mention all the playing time he gets, not the huge contract, but the sizable contract he got this year. This guy really only had one good half of the season in 2022. Since the All-Star break 2022, he's not only been one of the worst hitting catchers, but one of the worst hitters, period. And I don't think it's a far stretch to say he's, right now, at least from what I saw today, he's like the worst hitter in baseball. So I was just wondering if any of you guys could give me like a
Have you seen Davis Schneider lately?
Be nice.
Have you seen Davis Schneider lately?
No, and I agree. I was going to say Schneider is the only one giving him competition right now. But I know I'm being a little bit over-exaggerating.
I know.
Over-exaggerating a bit here. But it's just I'm seeing just not very good at bats. And he always seems to come up with runners on base. I understand he's a good defensive catcher, but if you shake a tree, enough gloves will fall out. He's got to be able to do something at the plate. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, guys. Thanks.
Thanks for the call.
I'll pass it on
to
No.
I'm going to do the first one. You're going to tackle the second one, okay?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you've been the one jumping up and down saying pay everybody. So I'm going to let you tackle the second one. The first one, Santander, obviously, they're telling you all the time that he is a notorious slow starter. The only thing I'm seeing, he swings at everything. That early in the season, it seems to me like he doesn't really have a happy zone that he's looking for. He's not a guy because of his swing. He's a little out and around. He casts sometimes, meaning when he starts his positive move towards the pitcher, his hands go away from his body instead of following his body, which is a big difference because that makes your swing long. The only reason I know that, I was notorious for doing that. So I know what that looks like. I just think he needs to refine a little bit of what he's swinging at. If he does that, he'll start hitting balls to the moon. Now, Jeff, you're up.
416-870-05. Oh, you want me to answer the question?
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, yes. I mean, Alejandro Kirk is being paid largely for his defense. The Jays think there's still something in there offensively. I don't think anybody envisions Alejandro Kirk carrying the team offensively. I think there's some limited expectations there. But the reason he's playing is they've got nobody else. I mean, they have Tyler Heineman. They got a bunch of guys and a couple of guys in AAA that, you really don't care if you ever see them in the majors, to be honest. They traded Danny Jansen last year. I think a lot of us thought that perhaps in the offseason they might add a veteran guy, a guy like James McCann or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. They didn't do it. Now they had obviously other things to worry about, but yeah, it's an area where they went from having Gabriel Moreno, Danny Jansen, and Alejandro Kirk to Alejandro Kirk and Tyler Heineman.
Yep.
In the past 3 to 4 years, mm-hmm. And it's not high on their to-do list. It wasn't high on their to-do list, but I mean, if this keeps up. Look, if Santander and Vladdy start hitting and Bo's hitting, I mean, you'll take what you can get from Alejandro Kirk, and for another year at least until the ABS comes in, you'll be satisfied with his work behind the plate. But I'm not looking for much offensively from Alejandro Kirk. I don't care about the contract. The contract doesn't change who you are and what you can do. You've talked about this. You're still the same guy, regardless of what you're getting paid. But yeah, we've talked about this lineup. A lot of things have worked well in this lineup, but there are two things really to me standing out that haven't. And, I know Vladdy hasn't hit a home run, but at least Vladdy's making contact. He doesn't appear to be lost at the plate. Santander and Kirk are to me the biggest worries in this team right now. Vladdy, I'm not worried about. Those singles will eventually become doubles. I'm not worried about that. But Anthony Santander, as you say, swings at everything.
Yeah, he does. Right now, I think that's probably why he's notorious slow starter, is because early in the season, the weather, right? The guys are, a little ahead of you when it comes to the pitching, the break, the tunneling. Like, it's just timing-wise, it's sort of you're playing catch-up that first month of the season. That's why what you swing at is very, very important. Probably more important is what you don't swing at. And when you go to the plate and swing at everything from your ear to your ankle, and your swing's a little bit long because he's a home run hitter, right? Most home run hitters got a long swing. They want to catch everything out front, and you got to have everything lined up and on time to be able to do that consistently and make contact in the middle part of the barrel. So, yeah, I'm not so much worried about him. I just think, it'll take a couple of games of him hammering baseballs, and he'll get in the groove and be the Santander we want. Kirky, look, I'll say this. I disagree with you a little. The contract forces us to talk about him differently.
Oh, no.
It does. We talk about him now on both sides of the ball. It's no more about how well he pushes the button and how much he tricks the umpire. It's not that anymore. You led this show off with going, we have to talk about Kirk.
I did not lead off the show saying, no, we didn't. That
we have to talk about what he didn't
talked about.
I don't want to be Captain Negative.
We talked about.
I don't want to be Captain Negative. That's what you said?
Yeah, but that was like the third thing after we talked about Gausman. I mean, you're making it sound like I let off by saying the Jays won 2-1, but by the way, Kirky sucked. No, I didn't do that.
That's what I heard.
Selective hearing, my friend. Selective hearing.
Yeah.
That is really what it is about is selective hearing. Andrew in Brampton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Okay, I got two things. First off, to be able to watch Hoffman, the velocity, the stuff, the fire, the flare, that fires me up.
Yep.
For it to come full circle, we drafted him. He didn't come by. Then we got him now. just swag on the mound. And, that just gets me amped, whenever he comes in, 8th, 9th, 10th, doesn't matter. But I want to talk about signing Bo, because getting Vladdy done just gets me thinking about Bo. We want them both. We need them both. We love them both. They love each other. We need Bo, and the deal's not going to be a Vladdy deal, but I want to know what the odds are that we're keeping Bo, because they're both catalysts, and people say that he's not the guy. He can't play short. He's earned it. We need them both. What are the odds we're keeping Bo? Because for us watching these two guys for the next 8 years, 10 years, I'd be elated to watch them both together.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think the odds are better now that Vladdy signed. Here's the thing. If you look at Edward Rogers and the Rogers ownership group and Rogers Communications, if you look at the ownership group, they spent money. They spent money to purchase MLSE. They spend money in the ballpark, despite the fact that they had basically a year with no attendance because of COVID. They've taken runs at Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto. They had the biggest offer for Corbin Burns this year. Corbin Burns wanted to live in Arizona, pitch in Arizona. That's fine. They signed Vladdy to a $500 million contract. The money is there. I just think that we were so fixated on Vladdy that, and I'm going to give Bo credit here. Bo really kind of kept his powder dry. Bo was smart enough to realize that the entire focus was on Vladdy. And let's keep this in mind. I know the caller's right. There was that sense out there that maybe Bo wasn't entirely happy. Caleb Joseph talked about this, how sometimes you look at Bo and you wonder, is he really enjoying it here? Bo did agree with this team on a 3-year contract in his final 3 years of arbitration. So it's not like these sides have had an issue in the past 3 years in terms of evaluating Bo. So they've got a lot of money coming off the books next year. This may be one of those examples, or maybe one of those times where Bo does go to free agency to see what the market is willing to pay.
Yep.
And then comes back to the Blue Jays. It might be. Hell, the way things have gone, they could turn around and sign him. We could have a double news conference on Monday, for all I know.
There you go. Yep.
Announcing Vladdy's contract, which, by the way, was made official today, and Bo. But I'm sure they'll have discussions. And at this point, yeah, I feel a lot better. It's weird, Kevin. I've gone from thinking neither of them are going to sign to they're only going to sign one of them, probably Bo, to they're only going to sign one of them, probably Vladdy. And now that they signed Vladdy, I'm thinking that, there's still an opportunity for them to sign Bo.
Yeah, it is amazing that the last couple of weeks we've heard Vladdy's name, we've heard Bo's name, we've heard Varsho's name. We've heard, obviously they signed Kirky. They're trying to keep, I think, that core little group going forward all together. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if he's not playing shortstop next year, who will? I mean, the way he plays second, I don't want to move him. It's the shortstops who can hit and lead off and can hit and lead the American League in hits and also hit 20-plus homers. Don't grow on trees.
I'll tell you what I do, man. You give me Bo and Jimenez up the middle and go out and get me a third baseman, an everyday third baseman. I'm laughing.
All right.
I'm laughing. I'm good to go. Whether it's Ryan McMahon or whomever. Yeah, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to make a significant trade to get it. I don't, off the top of my head, don't know if there are any named free agents who play third base, but that's kind of where I am. If they can get Bo done, and I've got Bo, Jimenez, and Vladdy locked up, and I got the dude in center field, Dalton Varsho, I can lock him up if I want. He's still a couple of years away from free agency. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, remember too, you got to fill in the blanks and some around your pitching too, right? Some of the starting pitchers are going to be gone. Gausman soon, Bassett soon, Max Scherzer obviously at the end of the year is going to be gone, so you're going to have to fill in the blanks there too. That'll cost you a little bit, or some trades. Like, they got some moves, but I'm with the caller. Why not? I mean, they're spending this. Why not spend some more?
2-1, the Blue Jays have beaten the Boston Red Sox. They've won the first 3 games of this 4-game series. It's awfully hard to sweep a 4-game series, as everybody in baseball will tell you, but the Blue Jays will get a chance to do that tomorrow in Fenway. We'll take a break and come back. Owen, don't go anywhere. We'll get to your call. It's Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything to catch.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You know, it's going to sound bad, but they were swinging and not hitting it. So that was probably the difference. They were swinging and missing. Felt like I was more aggressive, but also when I was behind in the count, you know, my pitches to get back in the count were really good. So I thought, I thought we did a good job of being ahead. You know, no walks in 8 innings is always good. But more than that, I thought we did a really good job of, the 2-0 at bats. We kind of got back to 2-2 pretty quickly. And so, I think fastball was playing good. It's pretty cold, so no one really likes to hit in the cold.
That was Kevin Gausman, the author of an 8-inning gem tonight at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, no bases on balls. Essentially, utilizing one pitch as fastball. Through 58 fastballs, 34 swings.
Yeah. I mean,
13 whiffs.
listening to him talk, he's a very smart dude. He could read swings. He was reading that they weren't catching up to his fastball. He could tell he was using the carrying split finger to get back into counts so he could eliminate them with the fastball. I mean, it's genius. Keep doing it until they make you change it.
Let's take a look around the American League East with Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The Baltimore Orioles lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks 9-0 today. The Orioles also found out that they will be without opening day starter Zach Eflin, at least for a couple of weeks as a result of a shoulder issue. The MRI did not appear to show the type of serious damage that the Orioles originally expected, but they're already without Grayson Rodriguez. They failed to sign Corbin Burns, and with Zach Eflin being hurt and the Jays going in there for 3 games starting Friday, the Orioles right now, they are 5-8 in the American League East. Tampa Bay just finished beating the LA Angels 5-4. They're 5-6. The Boston Red Sox, of course, 6-7 after losing to the Blue Jays. The New York Yankees, they are 7-5. They beat the Detroit Tigers today. And Kevin Barker's Toronto Blue Jays, 8-5 atop the American League East.
Told you so.
There you go. With a run differential of +4.
Yes.
Compared to +23 for the Yankees. Not that anybody's looking. Not
Yankees hit homers, Jays don't.
Yeah.
Real easy.
For now. For now, they don't hit homers. But the Jays did win 2-1 today over the Boston Red Sox. They can sweep the Red Sox tomorrow in the 4th and final game of the series. A reminder, it is a 4:10 first pitch. Blair and Barker will be on as per usual from 2 to 4 Eastern on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and then we'll hand it off to Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue for the radio call of the game, and that will be starting at 4 o'clock. Owen in Whitby, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good, Owen. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, no problem. I actually hung up by accident, called back, got lucky. So I actually, to the start of the year, the expectations were a question mark. We were going to be really bad or we were going to be really good. So far, I think it's pretty encouraging, especially Gausman tonight, because last year he wasn't the Gausman we knew. But tonight, he looked great. Hopefully he can keep that up. The players are playing well. I'm not getting too excited. We're 14 days into the season. Yes, we're in first place, but...
Yeah, don't be like Barker. He's already got him fitted for rings, so...
Yeah, he's playing in the parade. We're not the Maple Leafs here. We gotta win. But I'm still not... I don't want Atkins. I don't want Shapiro to be involved with this team next year. I know they signed Vladdy, but to be honest with you, it was a no-brainer. Like, how do you not sign a 1A first baseman, silver slugger that you've had since you was 16 years old? Like, who else are you going to get, right? Like that. I'm not giving them too much credit for that because you're not going to get a better player. And he's going to get that money anywhere he wants, maybe more. So I'm wondering, do you think this is it for them? I wouldn't re-sign them. I would look to new leadership next year. I'm not going to say Snyder needs to go because I feel like he's been on a leash and hasn't gotten to make his decisions at all times. But I feel like the GM and the president got to go, and we got to go in a new direction. Atkins has no personality. Even Ricciardi had a personality. Gillick had a personality. Anthopoulos was a beauty. But, this guy, he just doesn't fit for me. Anyway, that's my opinion. And I want to know what you guys think about who's going to lead the front office next year.
Kevin, you want to take that?
I think it's performance driven. This is what I think, Jeff. I'll answer it this way. I think it's performance driven. If the president has not already been signed, and I'm not sure that, that's not the case. I mean, it sure sounds like the way he speaks that he's been signed already. But Look, I think with the GM, it's performance driven. They've spent enough money now. Their team's good enough. Their bullpen, I think, is better, way better than it was last year. Their lineup, when it's hot, at least the first three guys, I think can at least make them relevant in September. Their starting pitching, obviously, when it's healthy, is good enough to compete against any lineup, maybe in the American League. I don't know so much about the National League, but at least in the American League, they're good enough to be relevant. If they're not, I'm with the caller. I think it's time.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot will depend on whether or not this team makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think opinions of the front office may have changed a bit, but I think some of those changed opinions will be tempered by the fact that, we really didn't need to get here. The front office could have saved some money by getting Vladdy done 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, they just could have. Every other organization's doing that. There's no reason they couldn't have done that. So I still think the jury's out, and I think a lot will depend on the playoffs. But again, I will say what I've said about Mark Shapiro. This organization's in really good shape right now. And 90% of it has to do with the fact that you've got engaged ownership that's willing to spend money, and ownership that wants to win and is committed to winning, and is perhaps as importantly committed to showing the fans it wants to win. But you've also had a president who's done a lot of heavy lifting with the stadium. And as I've said, and I know people roll their eyes when I say it, that stadium was huge. That was a huge project. So, long answer, I guess, but for a short answer, let's wait and see if they make the playoffs. Let's see if they win a playoff series. I think that will ultimately tell whether or not Ross Atkins is back next year as general manager or somebody else is in here. But I just, my sense is the only way Mark Shapiro isn't back is if Mark Shapiro finds another job someplace that tickles his fancy. That's my read on it. I could be wrong. I got no inside info or anything. That's just flat out my read on this particular situation. 2-1. The Toronto Blue Jays have beaten the Boston Red Sox. Folks, they are in a position with Chris Bassett on the mound to sweep the Boston Red Sox tomorrow at Fenway Park. It is a 4:10 first pitch. So please join us before the game for Blair and Barker, during the game, and of course after the game when we're doing Blue Jays Talk. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers on St. Clair and Laird Avenue in Toronto. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game! It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet! Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That goes high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA!
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and online with the Sirius XM app.
XM 176 and Internet 858, Marlins on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs face the Texas Rangers. Cubs on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 845. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 3:35 p.m., the A's face the San Diego Padres, with the A's on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 841. Padres on Internet 862. 3:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks taking the Baltimore Orioles. Diamondbacks on Sirius 106, XM 179 and Internet 840. Orioles on Internet 843. 3:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants taking the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 847. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals taking the LA Dodgers. Nationals on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 869. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
Michael Tolia is the everyday first baseman for the Colorado Rockies, and he stopped by MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89 to reflect on what it means to earn a spot.
It was a dream come true for sure. It was something that I've always wanted, since I first started playing baseball. I've been playing first pretty much my whole career, so I had my eyes set on that position. Even though I've bounced around in the outfield a little bit in my career, I always know that first base is my true home. As far as knowing I was on the team this year, I had a pretty good inclination after the end of last season. But, Buddy, he told me this year at spring training, he said, I don't think I need to tell you, but you're on the team. It's always good to hear that. Like, it's just something that you want to hear, and you want to, confirm that, like, hey, I'm a starter, I'm on the team, let's go. It's definitely comforting knowing that, you have the long leash and you can just go get your rhythm and timing in the box, and you don't have to necessarily worry about it. But with that being said, I feel like in this game, there's always somebody trying to take your spot. It doesn't matter who you are. So I think you always kind of have to play with a chip and an edge on your shoulder that you're trying to secure that spot every day. Even if you're under contract, you want to prove to yourself and the fans that you're still the guy and you're going to be the guy for the future. And so that's kind of the mentality that I want to take into this role and, play like I'm earning the spot every single day and put my hair on fire.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Wednesday, April the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates taking the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 861. Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:10 p.m., New York Mets taking the Miami Marlins. Mets on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 858. Marlins on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs face the Texas Rangers. Cubs on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 845. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 3:35 p.m., the A's face the San Diego Padres, with the A's on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 841. Padres on Internet 862. 3:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks taking the Baltimore Orioles. Diamondbacks on Sirius 106, XM 179 and Internet 840. Orioles on Internet 843. 3:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants taking the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 847. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals taking the LA Dodgers. Nationals on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 869. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871. 4:10 p.m., Seattle Mariners taking the Houston Astros. Mariners on Sirius 138, XM 182 and Internet 864. Astros on Internet 851. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the Chicago White Sox. Guardians on Sirius 139, XM 183 and Internet 848. White Sox on Internet 846. 6:40 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the New York Yankees. Tigers on Sirius 161, XM 184 and Internet 850. Yankees on Internet 859. 6:45 p.m., Boston Red Sox face the Toronto Blue Jays. Red Sox on Sirius 162 XM 185 and Internet 844. Blue Jays on Internet 868. 7:05 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays take on the LA Angels. Rays on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 866. Angels on Internet 853. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Braves on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 842. Phillies on Internet 860. 7:40 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Minnesota Twins. Royals on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 852. Twins on Internet 857. 8:40 p.m., Colorado Rockies face the Milwaukee Brewers. Rockies on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 849. Brewers on Internet 856. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Wednesday, April the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 861. Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:10 p.m., New York Mets take on the Miami Marlins. Mets on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 858. Marlins on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs face the Texas Rangers. Cubs on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 845. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Feed on Internet 870. 3:35 p.m., the A's face the San Diego Padres, with the A's on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 841. Padres on Internet 862. 3:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Baltimore Orioles. Diamondbacks on Sirius 106, XM 179 and Internet 840. Orioles on Internet 843. 3:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 847. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals take on the LA Dodgers. Nationals on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 869. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish Feed on Internet 871.
Sirius XM has soccer covered end to end. Sirius XM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's Sirius XM FC on Channel 157.
The Pirates' Paul Skeens had a magnificent first season in MLB, and now on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio, host Jim Duquette was on to talk about how we should be ready for his second year.
Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young Award winner, coming back after missing last year with Tommy John surgery. Tarek Skubal and Blake Snell squaring off in L.A. late this afternoon on the East Coast, and that's three Cy Young awards between the two of them. That's the second. That's like the undercard, right? Is like Skeens Alcantara and then Skubal Snell almost feels like the undercard, which is weird to say, seeing as they have 3 times as many awards as that duo. I don't know. Like I feel like we brought up Skubal Snell the other day, and that's kind of the first conversation we'd had about it, but like I've known for a long time that it was going to be Skeens Alcantara. That seems to be the one that I think everybody's most, is it fair to say, curious about?
I mean, yeah, I think obviously because Skeens wasn't on the scene last year on opening day, like all right, what's a full season of Skeens look like? How does Sandy Alcantara look? You know, a full year off of pitching, coming back from the injury. He's going to be a high trade candidate or target if he can pitch healthy through the first part of the season. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think you named all 4 of those guys. I want to look and say, all right, what is the over under of number of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs combined? Take those 4 starters, go 100 miles per hour fastballs. How many?
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Wednesday, April the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 861. Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:10 p.m., New York Mets take on the Miami Marlins. Mets on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 858. Marlins on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs face the Texas Rangers. Cubs on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 845. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 3:35 p.m., the A's face the San Diego Padres, with the A's on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 841. Padres on Internet 862. 3:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Baltimore Orioles. Diamondbacks on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 840. Orioles on Internet 843. 3:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 847. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals take on the LA Dodgers. Nationals on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 869. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871. 4:10 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Houston Astros. Mariners on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 864. Astros on Internet 851. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the Chicago White Sox. Guardians on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 848. White Sox on Internet 846. 6:40 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the New York Yankees. Tigers on Sirius 161, XM 184, and Internet 850. Yankees on Internet 859. 6:45 p.m., Boston Red Sox face the Toronto Blue Jays. Red Sox on Sirius 162, XM 185, and Internet 844. Blue Jays on Internet 868. 7:05 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays take on the LA Angels. Rays on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 866. Angels on Internet 853. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Braves on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 842. Phillies on Internet 860. 7:40 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Minnesota Twins. Royals on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 852. Twins on Internet 857. 8:40 p.m., Colorado Rockies face the Milwaukee Brewers. Rockies on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 849. Brewers on Internet 856. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Wednesday, April the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 861. Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:10 p.m., New York Mets take on the Miami Marlins. Mets on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 858. Marlins on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs face the Texas Rangers. Cubs on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 845. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 3:35 p.m., the A's face the San Diego Padres, with the A's on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 841. Padres on Internet 862. 3:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Baltimore Orioles. Diamondbacks on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 840. Orioles on Internet 843. 3:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 847. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals take on the LA Dodgers. Nationals on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 869. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
Should the Toronto Blue Jays move George Springer back to the top of the lineup? Well, on the leadoff spot on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on Channel 89, Eduardo Perez thinks so.
You sort of have to think about it. Yes, I understand Toronto Blue Jay fans are saying, look, it didn't work last year, probably didn't work the year before. But George Springer's in a better place. He looks healthy. He looks really good with his feet. I would love to see that on base and the power from George Springer in the one spot, and then just trickle everybody down. Go Bichette 2. Then you go Vladdy 3. Then you can then put Santander in the 4th spot with Jimenez in the 5. If you do that, I think now it creates an opportunity. And this comes from me having been in Boston this past weekend. We saw Alex Cora, who is one of the few managers that implements and uses the hit and run. I know, I get it. In today's game, we don't see a lot of that. But what we do see is projected defensive placement. And if you put Bichette in the 2 spot with George in the 1, now you could start making guys move a little bit because Bichette handles the bat well. He uses line to line well. force them then to move the defense around a little bit, and now you start playing with the arrangement and you keep guys off balance. So I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with the Blue Jays if they do decide to go that route.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Wednesday, April the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 12:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 170.